Ole Miss, Mississippi State coming your way in less than 17 minutes.
On this college football holiday, we give thanks for the Grove and the Egg Bowl. One of the craziest rivalries in college football returns to a Friday. Mississippi State and their neighbors Ole Miss, the walk of champions for the final time this year in Oxford. Lane Kiffin and his program trying to bounce back from a devastating loss to Florida. In their sights, the 121st Egg Bowl, a series that Ole Miss has dominated over the years. Meanwhile, Mississippi State is looking to play spoiler to that very slim path that Ole Miss still has to the college football playoff. What a day for college football. Lane Kiffin and his counterpart on the other side, Jeff Lebby. It's teacher versus mentor. Lebby was the offensive coordinator here just a couple of years ago. And so from Oxford, Mississippi, welcome to the SEC on ABC, presented by Target. This is the Egg Bowl, a series where the passion runs over. That was the case in the SEC last week. A devastating weekend for playoff hopes throughout the league. Florida started the day by losing to Ole Miss with a couple of late interceptions. Oklahoma shut down Alabama, and so the scene is only half set. Georgia gets the winner of tomorrow night's Texas and Texas A&M return. And here, the Egg Bowl, a series that dates to 1901. That is filled with passionate fans. And from Oxford, Mississippi, Tom Hart, Louis Riddick, we got Chris Budden down on the field. The enthusiasm, the expectations, the stress when it comes to a rivalry game, and one that dates back 124 years is something else, and it creates great passion.
It sure does. Look, I'll tell you, for Ole Miss, this really is a season, Tom, of unrealized expectations. Coming off the Peach Bowl last year and all the work that they did in the transfer portal to really beef up this football team, I think they fully expected to be a shoo-in for the college football playoff this year. 3 losses now by 1 score during the course of this season. It really has taken the wind out of this program a little bit. It'll be interesting to see how they respond here today. Short week, hated rival, national TV. We'll see how they respond.
Lane Kiffin told us when you pour so much into it, it hurts even more when it doesn't work out, and that was the case for them last week against Florida when Jackson Dart threw a couple of late interceptions. He's 3-1 in this Egg Bowl. He knows full well what rivalries are all about from the NFL throughout the entire college game, but he's got a quarterback, Jackson Dart, who he's had to be there to support this week.
Yeah, he sure has. Look, Jackson took that loss awful hard. I mean, he played lights out, by all accounts, and most importantly, by Lane Kiffin's estimation, for 3 quarters of that football game, really 3 quarters and almost a full 4th quarter until the very end. Jackson really fully expected himself to play his best football and carry this team on into the college football playoffs, and for them not really be able to finish was something that he took quite hard, and he said himself, I'm looking forward to getting back out here on the football field here today.
Jeff Lebby is looking to find something positive before their season comes to an end. His first in Starkville, and leading the way, Chris Budden, is the emotion that both sides are playing with, and Mississippi State knows all about.
Absolutely. Jeff Lebby knows about it on both sides. One of the few head coaches that knows what it's like to coach on either side of the rivalry, and it comes down to one word mainly. That's culture. Wide receiver Jordan Mosley explained it like this. He said, I grew up in Mobile, Alabama. I'm used to watching the Iron Bowl. The hate for that doesn't even compare for the hate for the Egg Bowl. I said, how so? And he says, it's the difference of culture. They think we're country, and we think they're uppity. And while there may not have been a ton to play for the Bulldogs, it comes down to there's no NFL pro team in this state. So this is what the bragging rights are for. They had a bunch of NFL players that played at Mississippi State send videos this week to remind them what is on the line. Bragging rights in the state of Mississippi.
All right, so as you fix your second turkey sandwich of the day, you can choose. You pulling for country or you pulling for uppity? Full house from the home of the Rebels in Oxford, Mississippi. What is a great day of college football throughout the country and on ABC. Let's get to the studio, checking with our buddies Kevin Negandhi and Booger McFarland on a jam-packed College Football Friday.
Tom, thank you so much as we continue the Bud Light kickoff here with Booger, Kevin Nagandi here. Okay, let's talk about the emotions for Ole Miss. Like, literally 20 days ago, the highest of highs, their biggest win at that stadium is they knock off Georgia. Then they had the bye, then the lowest of lows, the shocker in the swamp. Where are they emotionally heading into a rivalry game?
Well, I think the rivalry game comes at a perfect time because let's not forget, this is a team that came into this season championship or bust.
Yes.
They built this roster to win a national championship, and now you have a letdown against Florida. You lose that game. How do you get back up? Nothing like a rivalry game because these two teams don't like each other. So if you're Lane Kiffin, this game comes at a perfect time.
You got their attention no matter what. Yeah, you're not losing this one to Mississippi State making their season. Meanwhile, you could talk about Travis Hunter in many ways. How about dominant? We just saw him and what he did in a 52-0 shutout. Look at the numbers from the Heisman favorite. 3 touchdown catches, 1 pick, 4th game that he's had at least 1 touchdown, as well as an INT. He was everywhere, Boog.
Kev, just to add more perspective on defense, he had 1 INT and 2 pass breakups. Overall, on offense, 10 catches, 116 yards. He played over 110 plays. Simply put, Kev, he's the best football player in America. And if you're from an older generation like you and I, we remember watching Charles Woodson, Champ Bailey. He's a better version of those two, and we know it. Those are 2 Hall of Famers.
Yes, they are.
And he's a better version of those two.
And Charles Woodson, a Heisman winner that we saw in the late 90s, and you see the Deion dance. Boy, they had a heck of a lot of fun at Folsom Field today with that shutout, 52-0. Shedeur Sanders was fantastic as well. Amazing turnaround in that second half. They were up 21-0, and Deion was not happy about the second quarter. So they came out lights out in that third quarter, and it makes you wonder where Colorado would have been if they did not lose to Kansas a week ago.
Well, and let's not forget, even though they did lose, Kev, they still have an opportunity to play for a Big 12 championship. Arizona State, BYU, Iowa State, if 2 of those 3 lose, Colorado plays for a Big 12 championship.
We're going to keep an eye on those games. Anything can happen. We've learned that from last weekend. Shedeur, a fantastic day in his final game at Folsom Field as the Buffaloes go on to win. What are we going to get from Ole Miss? That is the big question. It's the first time we've seen the Egg Bowl on a Friday since 2008. Kickoff coming your way after this.
Rarity to play this one on a Friday, a long-time Thanksgiving tradition that dates all the way to 1901. They brawled in 25. They brought out a trophy. Only 76 miles separate these schools, and both programs running down the dream. It's not enough just to beat your rival. You gotta bury them.
This rivalry, it hits different.
The most venomous rivalry in all of sports. Everybody charging out onto the field, and this could get ugly.
It was a beautiful day. Mississippi sun beat down. I had the radio on. I was driving.
We will be kicking against the wind. There's the kick. It turns. It is no good.
Yeah, running down a dream.
Touchdown! Elijah Moore! This is going to be an extended extra point. The kick is up, and it is
Running down a dream.
Tommy Tuberville going to roll the dice and go for the win. Into the end zone. It's good.
This is the way it's supposed to be when Ole Miss and State play.
The old adage, you can expect the unexpected in this one. It dates all the way to 1901, tied for the 9th longest series in major college football. A ranked Ole Miss team still has designs on a college football playoff, and a Mississippi State team that is searching to end an SEC losing streak. They're looking for their first conference win of the season. They've been playing for the Golden Egg since 1927. That followed a 1926 brawl when Ole Miss tried to take down State's goalposts after a win in Starkville. They got beaten back by cane-bottom chairs, and they said, well, we just had to sacrifice a couple of chairs to get this rivalry to where it needed to be, and it never seems to disappoint. The only disappointment in this state is in the northern part where the Ole Miss fans thought they were headed to the playoff. They were right there until stumbling at Florida last week, and now Lane Kiffin is trying to get them right. And the question remains, what frame of mind is this Rebel program in as they walk into a rivalry game and look to make it to the postseason with some sort of momentum? So the Rebels will come on the field with, I think, J.J. Pegues leading the way, and a Jackson Dart at quarterback, who's one of the most prolific passers in college football. Can the captains get him on the right track? Can Ole Miss find a running game? And otherwise, can Lane Kiffin's squad try to cash in on that dream? Because even though Ole Miss is sitting with 3 losses and then a chunk of 2 other SEC teams with Alabama and South Carolina just on the outside looking in, if this season of college football has taught us anything, it's that anything can happen with this final regular season weekend and then championship weekend to come. Mississippi State comes to town with an opportunity to make some noise, and that's their goal against their rival from Oxford. 2 of the fastest offenses in college football will try to turn it up, but each side dealing with injuries here late in the season. The Rebels quietly, maybe confidently making their way into the corner of the stadium and ready to take the field. With a win as expected against Florida last time out, this was due to be a celebration. And as big a party as Oxford had seen as they aimed for the college football playoff. Well, that mood has certainly changed. If there was ever a slower party in Oxford, that's what we're getting this weekend, as opposed to what they normally are. At 8-3 and 5-1 at home. Welcome to the Bud Light kickoff as the Ole Miss Rebels wait to take the field past Chucky Mullen's statue here at Vaught Hemingway Stadium. The Bulldogs will come out first. Mississippi State has an 11-game SEC losing streak. They're trying to snap that. And the Rebels follow their rivals onto the field on a crisp autumn afternoon. Temperatures will be in the 40s for the majority of this one. It's just about perfect. In this rivalry weekend of college football, there is nothing in terms of rivalries like this Egg Bowl. Tom Hart, Louis Riddick, Chris Budden down on the field. Welcome to the Bud Light kickoff. You played in a great college football rivalry. There's something about the proximity just gets the emotion stirred up.
Absolutely. Look, when you're separated by less than 80 miles, look, there's a lot of guys who know one another, a lot of families that know one another. This is kind of a border war. And really, you can go ahead and throw out the records. It really doesn't matter here. And quite honestly, when you look at Mississippi State here today, you're going to see some electrifying players. They have some of the building blocks to maybe get this program turned around here in the future. This game is going to be fun right out of the gate.
It's one thing to control the emotions. It's another thing about the X's and O's. Let's take a look at the Bud Light's keys to the game.
Yeah, when you're looking at Mississippi State, look, offensively, they just need to protect the football. Freshman Michael Van Buren Jr., he has to make sure that he carries the fortune of this football team with him and doesn't turn it over to Ole Miss. They need 5+ explosive plays on offense. That means plus 20 yards or more. Defensively, force Jackson Dart to be patient. Don't allow him to strike down the field with a big explosive passing game like he has feasted on defenses with all season long. For Ole Miss, it's about red zone efficiency. I know if you're an Ole Miss fan right now, you're sitting thinking back to that Florida game and you're going, man, could they have used some efficiency last week? Otherwise, we'd be talking about them in a different light. And then defensively, limit the missed tackles. 21 missed tackles a week ago for a plus 180 in yardage. That's just something that Pete Golding, the defensive coordinator, says we can't repeat again.
Jackson Dart leads the nation in total offense. He'll have to wait to get his hand on the football. Mississippi State won the toss, and as they have throughout this entire season, they've elected to receive. It'll be the 12th time in 12 games that State starts with its offense on the field. Jackson Dart started his college career at USC. He came in a highly touted quarterback and immediately took over this high-profile offense, which since Lane Kiffin has been the head coach here, has led the nation in total offense. Meanwhile, his quarterback on the other side, his counterpart, Michael Van Buren, is just a true freshman. And he has been thrown to the wolves this season. His first start came at #1 Texas. He had a 300-yard game on the road against Georgia. He has risen to the moment at times, but still makes freshman mistakes. In State trying to snap an 8-game losing streak to top 25 teams. And And a win today would be a huge momentum boost going into the offseason. Let's get down the field with Lane Kiffin. Here's Chris Budd.
Coach, in a game with so much passion, what does this one come down to? What will be important for your group to remember?
We got to play really well, stay balanced on offense, and play really physical on defense.
Appreciate the time. Good luck.
Well, defense hasn't been a huge issue for Ole Miss this season. They have an elite defense. It's harder to get the headset right, tucked into the hoodie. And once that is set, Lane Kiffin will be as well. He was very reflective when we spent time with him this week, talking about that loss to Florida and the missed opportunity. The more you put in, the more it hurts, he said. Meanwhile, Jeff Levy was his OC for 2 years. The Texas native is ready for this one. Could be a high-scoring game if State could get its passing game going. Caden Davis gets us started. Devon Booth won't have a chance for this squib that goes out of bounds at the 13. Time for our player check-in, presented by Allstate. Michael Van Buren making just his 8th career start. And ball security seems to be an issue for the youngster.
Yeah, it sure does, especially when you're talking about being in the pocket, when he's trying to create, when he's trying to keep his eyes down the field. 2 hands on the football has got to be something he has to be aware of. He's going up against an absolutely ferocious pass rush here with Ole Miss. They have some guys that will make life very difficult for you and will wreck the game if you aren't careful.
State will start in the sunlight, work towards the shadows on a chilly Friday afternoon here in Oxford. Devon Booth is the running back, and Booth gets a touch on first down and a little cutback, and Surge gives him 4 yards before Trey Washington brings him down.
Man, Devon Booth, I mean, he is fantastic now. This young man can really get it going with their outside zone running game. Look for Mississippi State to attack the perimeter of Ole Miss and check their run game discipline.
To the in route, and that's knocked away, trying to find Jordan Mosley. Isaiah Hamilton the coverage. This is an elite Ole Miss defense, 2nd in the country against the run, 18th overall. And an early 3rd down test for Mississippi State, the freshman quarterback. And movement up front, the right side of the line, right tackle, freshman Luke Work.
All stars. Offense number 51. 5-yard penalty. Still 3rd down.
Wayne Winkler is our white hat tonight.
And look, if you're this offensive line for Mississippi State, you know, and in particular, if you're Luke Work and you have Prince Umanmielen rushing over you right now, the crowd's amped up and you're in 3rd and long, 3rd and 5 plus, now you're in 3rd and 10. You can best believe nerves are going to play a part in it early on in this game.
Ole Miss leads the country in sacks. Empty backfield now for Van Buren. A 4-man rush, and he's intercepted. Ole Miss with an early takeaway by Chris Paul, and the Rebels have early momentum. Said ball security would be an issue. It's the 6th pick of the year, thrown by Van Buren.
You can see Van Buren just trying to get the ball to Kelly Akari on the quick slant, and his receiver falls down. You're going to see it. It's going to be right over here in this area. Just watch what happens as he tries to throw the slant. Receiver falls down, and there you see him, and Chris Paul is just sitting there waiting. All he has to do is catch it. Ball security, making good decisions. Don't know if that really would have been a completed pass anyway. He threw the ball into heavy traffic. Not a good start.
Micah Davis gets a touch to start it off, picks up 2 yards. The Ole Miss running game has been an adventure ever since Henry Parrish was lost to injury. But make no mistake about it, Lane Kiffin's offense, as directed by Charlie Weiss Jr., as one of the nation's best quarterbacks in Jackson Dart, and when healthy, an elite receiver room. Back to the ground game. Davis finds a hole on the outside and takes it to the 22-yard line for the transfer from Utah State.
Now you see the speed that Micah Davis possesses. That's what they want. They want more explosiveness out of the running back position. I know it's been a little bit of a talking point surrounding this football team. They're just trying to find some playmakers with the loss of Henry Parrish at running back.
They've tried just about everything back there. And here's Davis again. Tripped up After a gain of a couple, Davis started his college career playing at the Air Force Academy, where he scored 6 touchdowns over 4 games in a triple option offense. Dart under center. And Davis again. And taken down in the backfield. It's DeMonte Russell with the stop. Defensive coordinator Coleman Hutzler said, we want to force them to run. We think that's an advantage for us.
And DeMonte Russell, you see, just beats the tight end, Daquan Wright, off the edge. Able to get some penetration.
Well, the roar came up from the crowd because the little used Ulysses Bentley is in at tailback. He's trying to work his way out of the doghouse. Picks up the blitz. Dart to the end zone. Knocked away. No flag. Coverage from Hunter Washington downfield on Daquan Wright. First pass attempt of the game for Dart.
It's a nice job by Hunter Washington. You see Lane Kiffin saying, look, he's impeding my receiver down the field. And you see there, he's making contact, and they stay engaged and locked up. Jackson Dart just tries to throw a 50-50 ball up to the 6'4" Daquan Wright, who they really like down here at the tight end position because of the matchup issues that he presents for safeties.
Caden Davis on. Attempt a 39-yarder for Ole Miss. And he drills it. The opening drive, next 3, a short drive after the interception. 6 plays and 12 yards. And in the 121st Egg Bowl, 14th ranked Ole Miss leads 3-0.
Some people want double the chicken, slow roasted in a burrito with crisp, fresh purple cabbage. Some people don't. And some people are wrong. The Cantina Chicken Burrito, only at Taco Bell.
I don't know why these numbers aren't matching. Is the garage sale taxable income?
All right. Jacoby, get warm. Let's let Jacoby take a run at it.
I really thought this was going to be my year.
If only there were backups in real life. But at least there's Progressive to protect your home and auto.
Carryover losses. Here's your problem. There it is.
1901 and played every year since 1943. Ole Miss took advantage of the short field but couldn't punch it in. Rebels with a 3-0 lead. Caden Davis puts it in the air. And this one will sail into the end zone. So for this Mississippi State program, it's been a program in transition, it seems, for the last handful of years. Only 2 wins this season. Last year with 2 or fewer was 0-3. They haven't won an SEC game since last year. It's been 11 consecutive, all by double-digit points. It's the longest streak since Vandy in the early 80s. And Lewis playing into that 5 head coaches over the last 8 years, dating back to Dan Mullins last year. Joe Moorhead lasted 2. Mike Leach had him on a great trajectory. Untimely passing after 3 years of the head coach. Zach Arnett 1. He's now in the Ole Miss staff, and now Jeff Levy. And a deep ball down the sideline. Caught! Diving grab by Mississippi State, Seydou Traore. And a 39-yard strike. Get the State fans out of their seat.
Well, Traore is someone who I really like in terms of the matchup capability that he has with his frame and his catch radius. This young man can be an absolute problem at 6'4", 235 pounds. He has put on tape some impressive plays in the passing game. And you see here, just trying to get him singled up one-on-one down the field. They're going to take a look at this catch as he lays out down the field. You can see him there, full extension. He's able to control the ball when he hits the ground. The ball doesn't seem to hit the ground. He's able to trap it up against his body.
Jordan Craddock is a replay official here at Oxford.
We're not going to be able to see it from this angle here.
But a shot in the arm this would be for State if it stands as a completion. You see it coming out from that angle. This will be wiped off.
Yeah. That's a heck of an individual effort. I really like the matchup, though. They quickly recognized that he had a one-on-one with Jaden Kennedy, who's 5'10", 175, and that they had the mismatch that they wanted.
This is the one way that Mississippi State was able to attack Georgia. They put up good points in Athens. In fact, first since 2016 to score 30 points in the Bulldogs' home stadium. Van Buren threw for 300 in that game. And the interesting part about that is Van Buren, when he has time, Lewis, to set up and hit deep shots on the perimeter, it seems like that's where the quick strike comes from in this offense.
Yeah, it sure does. And he needs to get the ball out of his hands quickly. We know the kind of limitations that they have up front as far as being able to protect it up so they can push the ball down the field. But when he's on balance and his feet and his arm and his hips are all tied together, he can throw the football with nice accuracy, as you saw there. And just what a nice individual effort by Traore, although I think this is going to come back. But you can best believe they'll push this ball down the field against this Ole Miss secondary. They have given up some big plays in the deep part of the field, in particular when they can get wide receivers matched up against their safeties one-on-one in the middle of the field.
Let's bring Matt Austin into this conversation. Matt, I thought it was pretty cut and dry. Just as I bring you in, we're going to get an announcement.
The ruling is an incomplete pass. The receiver did not have firm control of the ball when it hit the ground. It'll be second down at the 25-yard line.
Well, Matt's going to have a busy day, so we give him an easy one to start off.
Yeah.
Or at least for game 2 of his busy day.
What you like is Jeff Levy's approach, the head coach for Mississippi State, already saying, hey, look, we've come here to win. We know we can run the football. That's probably where our strength is with Devon Booth. But we've got to get the young freshman here uncorked and got to get him into this football game and push this ball down the field and loosen up this defense.
Booth has had a fantastic season, nearing 800 yards for the second straight. And this time it's Johnny Daniels who rotates in at running back and picks up 3. And 3rd and 7 coming up against the defense that leads the nation in sacks.
Yeah, this is just not where they want to live. They don't want to live in these 3rd and 5, 3rd and 6+ situations where now you put all your speed on the field with Umar Mialens and Taryn Perkins, and you're just moving around. Pete Golding can get real creative on these down and distances.
That was Kevin Coleman in motion. Van Buren fires to the outside and a little bit wide, trying to find Jordan Mosley. Isaiah Hamilton had coverage, and State will have to punt it away with Nick Barmira.
Just know where to go with the ball. Isaiah Hamilton had nice one-on-one coverage there on the outside. You see, just taking inside leverage, staying patient, keeping his eyes down on the receiver, Jordan Mosley, and able to just mirror that route out of the break.
Van Buren has started this game 0 for 4 with a pick. Nick Barmira on in punt formation with Micah Davis back to return for the Rebels, and they fake it, and they go right back up the middle for the first down to Justin Ball. And as a nearly 4-touchdown underdog in a rivalry game, State getting creative.
These are just the kind of chances that you're going to want to take if you're Mississippi State. See if you can get some extra possessions, gain some momentum. And there you see it. Ole Miss does not account for Justin Ball at all. You see him just released down the middle of the field. A nice, soft, easy toss and just pick up the first down. These rivalry games, man, you have got to be prepared for everything. There's going to be some wild emotional swings in this football game. Sudden change now for the Ole Miss defense.
Von Booth back in the game at running back. Van Buren gives him a chance here, and Booth spins his way into a tackle after a pickup of 2.5. Booth is coming off of back-to-back 100-yard games, 124 against Mizzou on only 12 carries, and 125 against Tennessee with a touchdown in both. In fact, 6 consecutive games with a touchdown for the Utah State transfer. 5 touchdowns on the ground, 4 through the air. Another chance this time to the perimeter, and that'll set up 3rd and about 5. Jared Ivey in on the stop for Ole Miss.
Again, trying to get that ball outside the tackle box in that C and D gap, as they call it. Stay away from the big boys inside, and J.J. Pegues and Walter Nolan. Walter Nolan, who played the best game since he's been here at Ole Miss last week against Florida. Now they got to protect it up and see if they can get this ball and convert a first down.
0 for 2 on 3rd down today. 4-man rush. Van Buren swings it out to Booth. Gets the a Mississippi State first down. It goes for 18 yards.
Just a nice job of the freshman Van Buren staying calm as the pressure is coming right in his face. Ole Miss had a little bit of a stunt coming on, a little what they call a TE, to tackle penetrating in, wrapping inside, and he's just able to leak the ball out on the perimeter and pick up the first down. Nice poise by Van Buren.
Coleman, their leading receiver, motion out. Here's Booth again. And Booth gets gobbled up after picking up maybe 2. He comes from a football family. His cousins Elijah and Rashad Penny were great running backs and fullbacks respectively. Penny was a Heisman finalist when he was at San Diego State. He learned the game from them and the rest of his brothers. He comes from a huge family. One of 12 kids, including 7 brothers, all played the game growing up. Second down 8. A lot of shifting. 5 different guys on the move for Mississippi State in total. Clock getting late, and they're going to have to use a timeout. Mississippi State trying to take advantage of converting the fake punt. And in a rivalry has great quarterback play. Looking for more of that today. Levy and the state crew having a Thanksgiving dinner, and our broadcast crew able to celebrate. Tom, Andy, and Sean made their way to Ajax Diner, nice enough to open it up for our guys and gals, putting the hard work in on Turkey Day, and may or may not have ended up at Funky's, from what I'm told. Coleman in motion again, looking for his first touch. Here it is. Swing out to one of the best receivers in the SEC, but he can't get past the first. Isaiah Hamilton brings him down.
Isaiah Hamilton making a difficult tackle on really one of the best wide receivers in college football that maybe you haven't heard of, in Kevin Coleman Jr. Look, Jeff Levy told us that they had some consistent quarterback play here at Mississippi State, and maybe were a little bit better around this young man. He thought he was a 1,300-yard receiver, that he has that kind of electricity in him. That's not the last we'll hear of him today.
Third down 7 for Michael Van Buren. And he's going to try to use his legs. Throws on the run. End zone shot and too strong. Trying to make something happen to Jordan Mosley as he rolled the pocket. But he had Princely Umanmielen in his face.
I think originally he's looking at Kevin Coleman down the middle of the field. He's running a little out and up. Decides to pull it down. Doesn't like the look. Escapes out to his left. Tries to give Jordan Mosley a chance there in the corner of the end zone. Just overthrows him.
So they keep the offense on the field. They're 18 of 33 on 4th down this year. ESPN Analytics says kick it here. But Jeff Levy looking to play with house money as deep underdogs in a rivalry game. Play clock at 1 and at 0. And there's the flag. And this one killed before it started.
Before the play clock expired, timeout, Mississippi State, their second.
All right, so State buys an opportunity here. The career long for kicker Kyle Ferry's 49. It'd be 53 from here. Jeff Levy making a decision.
Whopper, what's that Whopper? You created these showstoppers, crunchy, saucy, tangy toppers. Can they beat the OG? At BK, have it your way.
It is not just a fragrance. It is a passion.
This is Pocket Full of Sand.
Hey, I think I'm in the wrong commercial.
Wait, aren't you Andre?
No, I'm Shane.
Oh, you're supposed to be in a Bud Light commercial.
Oh, that makes sense.
If you're here, Andre is...
Something is different about you, man.
Power through the holidays with Energizer Ultimate Lithium, the #1 longest-lasting AA battery. On a long...
Jr. It's either him or Devon Booth. Those are your playmakers. Get it in their hands somehow. Get them freed up. Got Kevin Coleman in the slot at the top of the screen, maybe matched up against a safety one-on-one.
That was Kramer in motion. And a crossing route complete indeed, and room to run for Kevin Coleman to the pylon. He's in, and Mississippi State takes the lead on a 34-yard catch and run. Good call, partner.
Ran a nice mesh concept, got man-to-man coverage, exactly what maybe you would expect in this kind of down and distance. And it works out perfectly. They got the natural rub underneath Kevin Coleman and the catch and run, and then you just see that electric speed. Look, this kid is fantastic. Jeff Lebby could not be more effusive in his praise of Kevin Coleman. And there you got to see why.
Coleman's a great college football story. Went to play for Deion at Jackson State, was the SWAC Player of the Year. Kyle Ferry for the punt after, and he punches it through. Fake punt came at the 28-yard line on a 4th and 7. That helped him extend the drive before cashing in.
You're just going to see little mesh concept. Here comes Coleman. You're going to see him come across the field. And there's going to be a natural rub that's created by the mesh underneath. There you see Mario Craver comes across. They kind of just pick each other's man coverage defender. Then afterwards, it just becomes a catch and run situation. And any tape that you throw on of Mississippi State this year, you will see that this young man, when he gets the ball in his hands, it just looks like a blur. He smells the end zone. You see some bad angles in terms of pursuit. And Mississippi State gets on the board with their most electric playmaker in a 4th down situation being dialed up just like he should be.
29 consecutive games with a catch for Coleman. Michael Van Buren finds his 11th touchdown pass of the season. And State's got a first quarter lead. Iqbal Mira sends this one towards the goal line. Bentley lets it check up, and it was indeed in the end zone. Whistled dead. That made it interesting.
Sure did.
Interesting close of the game for Jackson Dart last week at Florida. He threw 2 interceptions and another one that was waved off after review. He was in tears at the end of that game and knowing the missed opportunity, and he was so despondent that when they got back, he texted Lane the next night and said, "Hey, can I come over?" Sure, yeah. Come over, just watch the ball.
Yeah, I mean, look, it was evident in terms of how Lane talked about this situation, how he has grown close to Jackson Dart, how he is someone who he hates to see go, and he hates to see go out like that. He really has invested a lot into this football team and developed a great relationship with Jackson Dart, the same way he had with Matt Corral, the same way he'll have with quarterbacks in the future here.
They hand it off to Juice Wells. Hadn't done much this season, and he gets thrown down for a loss of 5 by Hunter Washington. Here's Chris Budd with more.
You know, Lane Kiffin said it taught him a good life lesson, that when Matt Corral left here, he was so close to them. He didn't think he would have that kind of relationship again, and he built that with Dart. They watched the football games together the other day, and he said, you know, you watch him, the maturity that he has. He's first thing in the building, the last one to leave, always wanting to help his teammates. And watching Jackson today during senior day, emotional, walking off the field, wiping away tears.
He is thrown for a school record in yardage, and he is moving up on Eli's record. #1 in the nation in total offense. But it wasn't just what he thought that they had in front of them as they face a big 3rd down here. He helped recruit a lot of these guys to come out of the portal to get to Ole Miss to try and play for a title. They send the house again. Dart escapes, goes across the grain, and finds Caden Prescorn. And the Ole Miss tight end has a pickup of 21 and a Rebel first down.
Defensive coordinator Coleman Hutzler trying to heat Jackson Dart up. See if he can get some free runners on him. Jackson Dart just escapes out to his right. Shows you that arm strength, throwing the football back into the middle of the field to Prescorn and pick up the first.
It's been an abysmal defensive season for State. They've allowed 48% 3rd down conversions. One of the worst in the country. Dart has plenty of time to check down. And Jordan Watkins, it's taken down. Hunter Washington, first man there.
Yeah, Mississippi State has struggled on the defensive side of the ball. They struggled against the run. They struggled to prevent big passes down the field. But they have come out in this game right now, and they are playing with some absolute ferocity on this side of the ball, with the way the secondary in particular are running to the football, challenging every route down the field.
2nd and 5. Looking for a wide receiver screen. And only a couple of yards for Caden Lee, and then just short. The only team that goes for it more often on 4th down than Ole Miss in the country is Army. And so maybe they take a shot here on 3rd and 1. Dart instead hands it off. They pick up the first down. Ulysses Bentley. And there's the roar for Bentley, who's been stuck in the doghouse, played against Florida mostly, though, on special teams.
Yeah, you think this fan base doesn't want to see a running back carry the football? They don't want to see Ulysses Bentley carry the football. It's been a topic of discussion all week long surrounding Ole Miss and their usage or lack of usage with the running back position.
Bentley able to power his way for a gain of 4. Jackson Dart had the majority of the carries last week. They even used J.J. Pegues, the D lineman, in many short yardage situations. That's not necessarily new for them. But it's not just the lack of depth for the guy carrying the ball. It's all the other responsibilities the running backs have. Dart to Bentley out of the backfield. And Bentley bends back towards the middle and picks up the first down. And here's Ulysses Bentley now playing with a new lease on his college football season.
See, and that's exactly what Lane Kiffin and offensive coordinator Charlie Weiss Jr. want to see. The ability to make yardage after contact, make some people miss in space. That's something that they feel they were missing ever since Henry Parrish got injured a few weeks ago against Arkansas. Ulysses Bentley answering the bell.
Bentley still 5th in the league in touchdowns. Here's Micah Davis. Stopped by Nick Mitchell.
You can see what Lane Kiffin and Charlie Weiss Jr. have in mind here against these 3-down fronts, these light boxes. They figure, look, if you're going to not allow us to throw the football over the top with this 3 safety, look, we'll just run the football down your throat. Well, that means Ulysses Bentley has to be on the field, and they have to give him his touches.
10th play of the drive. Dart has all day and finally takes off and picks up the first down with his legs. Takes a hit at the 14-yard line. Jackson Dart celebrates the first down. He's been bothered by a bum ankle over the last couple of weeks. Didn't look like it that time.
Playing a little bit of what they call 2-man, meaning 2 high safeties and man-to-man coverage underneath. People have their backs turned. Jackson Dart says, look, I'll just pick a lane and pick up the first down with my legs. He showed you last week against Florida. He is not afraid to take this ball and start running with it.
He took a couple of shots in that Florida game, including late in the game. Fresh set of downs. Here's Micah Davis. Davis picks up 4 on first down.
Jackson Dart, just the ultimate competitor. Lane Kiffin said, look, this is his football team. He is the unquestioned leader, and he will sell out, do whatever it takes to try and get his team in the end zone. Here they are again in the red zone, where they struggled so mightily last week.
QB run all the way. Prescorn leading the way. And Dart down to the 4-yard line. Looks just short. Tackled by Stone Blanton and pushing and shoving in the end zone. This is what you expect in this rivalry. Emotions don't just run high. They often boil over. And the field judge trying to coach them both up. It was Caden Lee getting caught up with Hunter Washington after the fact.
Yeah, Hunter Washington is one of the enforcers in this secondary. You can see at the end of this play, you just see he just takes a shot at Caden Lee. And then it just continues from there. Bryce Pollock got involved. It's going to be like this today.
And here's another element of Ole Miss's attack. They bring J.J. Pegues in, who converted his first 12 short yardage opportunities of the season. And he'll take it to the outside, and Pegues mutters his way into the end zone. He carried Hunter Washington with him. A 5-yard touchdown run for the mayor, J.J. Pegues.
So much talk surrounding the short yardage play calling of Ole Miss a week ago at Florida with J.J. Pegues as far as running on the edge, on the perimeter. He decides to bounce it outside here once again and says, hey, look, I'm going to convert this time. Little guys, you ain't going to get me on the ground.
There's a flag on the play. Far side of the end zone. We talked to Charlie Weiss Jr. about some of that play calling, and he said, I didn't mind the play calling as much. We just need to coach it up a little bit better. As to your point, there are a couple of times where Pegues at 3:25
After the play was
outside.
over, unsportsmanlike conduct, defense number 2. Half the distance to the goal, it'll be a try attempt. That is number 2's first unsportsmanlike conduct foul.
It's an Isaac Smith, whose dad, Reggie, played D-line here at Ole Miss in the 90s. Isaac Smith grew up an Ole Miss fan. And now with that, Ole Miss will have an opportunity to get a little bit closer. Let's go for Dos. Brought to you by Dos Equis. It's only the second 2-point attempt for Ole Miss this season. They're 0 for 1. Pegues will stay on the field. 3:25 bounce into the outside.
You know, it was jammed up inside, whereas last week you probably could have made an argument a few times that maybe JJ should have stayed up inside. Maybe that's what Coach Weiss was talking about. Didn't emphasize that point enough. But here we have another opportunity.
Dart took the snap, but that one whistled dead. And false start on Ole Miss.
False start. Offense number 57. 5-yard penalty to try down.
All right, so Lane says the book says let's forget about go for Dos. Let's go for Uno. It is kind of surprising, as often as he gambles, if you want to put it that way, by going for it on 4th down, that's only the second time they've lined up to attempt a 2-point conversion. Spot the ball at the 7. Go Caden Davis. 49 of 51 on point afters this season. He's already banged through a 39-yard field goal. And the Texas A&M transfer splits the uprights. His former teammates have a big one tomorrow. Rebels back in front, second lead of the game.
You can see on the touchdown, this is going to be down blocks. The guy to keep an eye on is safety Hunter Washington. He's got to stay outside because J.J. Pegues, he just reads it out. He realizes that the C gap is kind of jammed up. I'm just going to jump it here outside. If Hunter Washington is sitting there, maybe he can hold him up until all of his buddies come and rally to the football. But that time, J.J. Pegues recognizes there's a soft edge. I can probably get out here on the corner and use my size to my advantage. Against a safety who's only 5'11", 190, I'll take my chances of winning that battle one-on-one. It's just a nice, easy, simple read. He breaks the tag there. The tackle attempt by Nick Mitchell, who tries to get him low.
Well, Pegues is an Oxford native, played right down the road at Oxford High School, a top recruit. Coming out of high school, as versatile as you'll find in college football. Rebels scored first with a field goal. State answered thanks to a fake field goal. And then Ole Miss back in front here late in the first quarter. And no return. Chris Budd, J.J. Pegues isn't just a defensive lineman. He's not just a running back, but he's got an honor to his name now.
Yeah, he called him the mayor. That's not just a nickname. He's actually acting mayor for the day. They announced it last week. He said, listen, I don't feel like God's done with me here yet. I get to be the mayor, so maybe I can make some rule changes or something. They did it over at the Capitol earlier. He wears number 38. He's in honor of Chucky Mullins as someone who has leadership, perseverance, determination. You talk to the guy, he just exudes so much joy. The wanting to help others has really been a light for this football team. And now the mayor.
Yeah, that was the real mayor of Oxford, Robin Tannehill, handing off the honorific to him. Swing pass to Johnny Daniels. Lowered his shoulder and is able to get 4 yards on first down before Chris Paul brought him down. Call it 3.5. What do you like about State's offense?
So far, look, we know that they have players on the perimeter that can compete with any team in FBS. It's really the interior of this team that really they need to go to work on. As you see it here, they just cannot capture the line of scrimmage in the run game with consistency, and then it bleeds over into the passing game as far as their ability to pass protect and take shots down the field. But they'll get that done. They have to get that done in the offseason on the recruiting trail, in the transfer portal. And Jeff Lebby said, hey, look, they have the resources now to maybe really improve this football team and take some big strides in 2025.
3rd and 8. State is 88th in the country in third down conversions. Coleman in motion. Van Buren looking for him over the middle. Caught again, and it's a first down for Kevin Coleman Jr., a pickup of 16 with a St. Louis native. He's on his 3rd college stop. Jackson State, Louisville, and now Mississippi State.
That's just nice patience on the part of Michael Van Buren, letting Kevin Coleman work his way through the second level through that zone coverage, and then putting a nice ball right on him.
Play action. Van Buren going deep down the sideline. It is hauled in over the shoulder by Jordan Mosley. And another chunk play for State. This one covers 41 yards.
Jordan Mosley just beats Chris Graves right off the line of scrimmage. I told you, these guys have some speed on the perimeter now, and they are giving this Ole Miss secondary fits when they can get singled up one-on-one.
Van Buren's thrown for 116, allowed to that total on a pitch to the edge for Traore, and the ball pops out. Mosley there to recover it. The big catch for Seydou Traore.
See, a nice job right there by Centarian Perkins of punching that ball out. It's a big turnover opportunity for Ole Miss that they missed. And for Mississippi State, they dodged a big mistake.
Van Buren keeps it, cuts inside, and dives for the goal line. He's in. State's back in front. Heavy underdogs, and with a huge talent disparity on both sides, Mississippi State staking its claim here in the first quarter.
You just see it on the zone read. He just pulls it. Jaden Kennedy, the nickel defender, gets walled off inside to create a soft edge. Now all the other secondary players have to try and rally and support, and they don't get there in time. Michael Van Buren cashes in.
Kyle Ferry for the point after. And back and forth we go. What else would you expect in the Egg Bowl? It always delivers. Through one quarter, State on top of Ole Miss by a score of 14-10. We'll be back after these messages and a word from our ABC stations.
Is there anything better than an SEC tailgate?
Yep.
A Sonic.
Yeah. You're watching Fairfield by Marriott Rivalry Week in the 121st playing of the Egg Bowl. Already 4 lead changes. State with a 4-point lead on Ole Miss. No return for the Rebels, who still have a path, as cloudy as it might be, to the college football playoff, which is the goal for Jackson Dart, who's looking to make some history here this afternoon. Second to Eli in career passing yards in Ole Miss history.
Those are some big-time numbers, and you can see why Lane Kiffin has nothing but respect for what Jackson Dart has done during his time here in Oxford. They've got an absolute dynamo waiting in the wings, and young Austin Simmons, the freshman out of Miami, Florida. But make no mistake, this is Jackson's football team, and he's going to need to play big here because Mississippi State has come here to play today.
Simmons, you mentioned the freshman, was fantastic in relief against Georgia. QB run, Bentley the leading blocker, and Dart surges forward to make it nearly a 5-yard gain. Another stop for Corey Ellington. Not to be lost in all of the chaos this season and the disappointing performance against Florida last week. Ole Miss still in the conversation as a bubble team for the 12-team college football playoff. They need a lot to go their way. But first and foremost, got to win here. Dart taken down, picks up 1.5 yards. DeMonte Russell in on the stop. And they'll leave 3rd down.
And you see here, this situation involving the running back position, the inconsistency. They're just not able to establish a consistent running game, despite the fact that Mississippi State is daring them to run the football. They're daring them to run it with the configuration they're using on defense.
Now 3rd and 3. Dart off balance lob and nearly picked off. He threw that into a ton of trouble. As many white shirts as navy shirts, and Hunter Washington just came up short. It's a 3-and-out for this Ole Miss offense.
It's just smart on the part of the Mississippi State defense to go ahead and just play soft coverage in the back end and just force Jackson Dart to remain patient, see if he will take what they'll give him underneath in terms of the short completions, or is he going to try and press the ball down the field into coverage and put the ball in harm's way? That's exactly what Coleman Huntsler, the defensive coordinator, told us he would do, and so far they're executing.
Frazier Mazin with a line drive punt. Coleman chased back, feet at this 11, and nearly got the head out of the 24. 53-yard punt, 10 on the return. Mississippi State trying to add to a 14-10 lead.
Cold, blazing heat. Rain-X premium silicone wiper blades are engineered to withstand the most extreme conditions. They last 2 times longer than traditional wipers. If Rain-X premium silicone wipers survive these conditions, clearly they'll last in yours. Rain-X, outsmart the elements. Find Rain-X silicone wipers at these retailers.
Let game day begin!
Grab a Pepsi and make your game day epic.
Gather your family for CMA Country Christmas.
You better watch out.
We have a sleigh load of stars performing the season's most festive songs.
Merry Christmas!
CMA Country Christmas, Tuesday on ABC.
SEC and ABC College Football Rivalry Weekend is loaded. Diego Pavia and Vandy will try to knock Tennessee's stature in the college football playoff standings with the win to start the day. Then at 3:30, it's the Iron Bowl. Bama feels like they still have a shot. And then Texas and Texas A&M in the renewal of that great rivalry with a trip to Atlanta on the line. Michael Van Buren fakes the pass to the flat and gets caught in traffic, trying to find the edge, and he hustles out of bounds. This is, we got a flag afterwards. Van Buren in front of the Mississippi bench. And we'll see what gets tacked on here. It's kind of like going into a dugout, the opposition dugout, chasing a pop-up.
I wonder if they're going to get Xavier Harris.
Personal foul, unnecessary
51.
Defense number 51 for a late hit out of bounds. 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
Well, whether or not he should have been flagged probably depends on what color jersey you're wearing. He didn't extend. He didn't punch at him. What do you think?
Yeah, you know what? I mean, that's. I see what they're trying to, what they're intimating that he was trying to do. Although I don't think that's something that you should call right there. He really just put his hands down by his side, put his hands in front of him, and kind of really tried to firm up in case he ran into him. I don't think he was trying to maliciously take him out to the point where it's a personal foul.
We saw that call missed earlier this season in the SEC. A couple of yards in the right side. Matt Austin, how do you see adjudication of that last play?
Well, I kind of agree with Lewis. I don't think he was trying to take him out, but he definitely was not trying to avoid him either. And in a game like this, I think it needs to be called.
Right.
Yeah,
that makes
sense. Can run hot.
It makes sense.
2nd and 7, and that one's blasted before it get back to the line of scrimmage by Pegues. Speaking of getting hot, Chris, what are the emotions like down there on the Ole Miss sideline?
You know, you're wondering if the disappointment from last week would carry over onto the sidelines, and it has been very quiet down here on Ole Miss sideline until just now when everyone started to stand up. But you compare that to Mississippi State, and they have been fired up since coming out of the tunnel. But things finally starting to get going on this Rebel sideline.
And they got State looking at a 3rd and 10. Coleman top of the formation. Here comes the house. Van Buren delivers to the edge, incomplete. Trying to find Coleman matched up with Hamilton. And Pete Golding has said, I don't feel like I have to send the house, but when I do, we get home.
Hey, he sure did. He sent 6 that time with just a safety in the middle of the field. They're just playing the sticks. Really getting into a pedal. Isaiah Hamilton just waiting on Kevin Coleman and just breaking downhill on the football.
Only first down came on the penalty on that last possession. Nick Mira, they clean, put it away clean. Micah Davis lets it go over his head. And that'll trickle to a stop just outside the 5-yard line. That's a 55-yard punt. In the Egg Bowl, 121st, Mississippi State clinging to a 4-point lead.
Swiffer Duster traps 4 times more.
27 seconds left. Eugene Clinton with the interception that set up Scott Westerfield for the game winner from 44 yards out. Bulldogs got the win. And this series since 1990 is not only deadlocked at 17, it's only a 9-point difference. Ball back to Ole Miss and quarterback Jackson Dart. Dart pulls it back and fires to the edge. Jordan Watkins with the catch. I think it's a fair observation to make that arguably the talent differential this year between everything that Ole Miss brought in on the defensive side and their skill position guys, the transfers on the O-line, this could be the greatest talent disparity we've seen in this series in a long time.
No question. And Lane Kiffin said, look, he still believes that this football team, this 2024 version of Ole Miss, is better than last year's team. He believed that. He believed maybe they needed one more corner to make this defense absolutely lights out. And they had some injuries on the offensive side of the football, but they felt that they were loaded. Mississippi State, they know what work they need to get done. They're going to have to get better on both lines of scrimmage. But you can see on the edges, on the perimeter, they've got some skilled players.
3rd and 2. Dart gets taken down. It's a loss of a yard. And another big stop for this Mississippi State defense. And the Bluebirds starting to eke out. Zachary Tillman able to take down Dart.
Mississippi State is playing a little bit of a cover 2 look, 2 high safeties. Just, again, trying to play it conservative, not get the ball thrown over their head, and make Jackson Dart remain patient.
Here's Coleman from the 32 and out of bounds. 55-yard punt. What have you seen from Michael Van Buren?
What you've seen is the dual threat ability. He can run the football and he can throw it. And when he puts it on time and on the money to this wide receiver core, as you saw with Kevin Coleman Jr. here, this is a great play call by Jeff Levy. And then here, you're going to see him on the zone read. You see him get the pull. Ole Miss does not secure the edge in terms of their run force principles. They get good blocking angles, that being Mississippi State, on the perimeter defense of Ole Miss, and Van Buren will make you pay with his feet as well. You've got to like how Jeff Levy has called this game from an offensive perspective and how they're executing on the field.
He's outgained Dart through the air, 125 to 45. Another shot man coverage, and Coleman hauled it in. Parmia Carey pulled it in. 37-yard gain. Kelly Akari and Isaiah Hamilton still on the ground.
Well, Kelly Akari, you see he's getting interfered with, getting his jersey pulled, and he's still able to pull away from him with good strength, catch that ball over the outside shoulder and complete it. And that's just a great individual effort, and give Michael Van Buren some props. He is launching this thing down the field on the outside lane, far difficult throws, and his wide receivers are coming up with him. That is a hell of a catch. After having your jersey pulled and being interfered with.
That is the 3rd completion of 30 yards or more for Michael Van Buren in this game. As the UTEP transfer, Kelly Akari, comes up with his first grab. This is the same offense that scored 31 on the road at Georgia, the most against a top 5 team for Mississippi State since 1936. Johnny Daniels trying to find the edge. Missed with the stiff arm and only gets 1. He stayed in bounds.
And Tom, what do we say at the top of the broadcast as far as one of the keys to the game? Get 5+ explosives. Mississippi State is going to have it. Plus 20 or more. And they're already well on their way to doing that here in the first half.
And they found success on the perimeter, not necessarily over the middle, where Van Buren threw a pick on their first possession. And a lot of room. Wants to throw. Lobs it in zone in the sunset and knocked away from Mosley by Trey Amos.
What you like about this young man is he is trying to give his guys opportunities to win 50-50 ball situations. Here he picked on the wrong guy. Trey Amos is not the guy you want to challenge. He has got NFL written all over him. He has got first or second day draft pick written all over him. And here we go with another third down situation where, again, you got to look at Kevin Coleman Jr. Number 3 is where you always start in these situations.
And didn't have time. Swallowed up by Chris Paul, who's got a pick and a sack, and he drops him all the way back at the 45-yard line. That's out of field goal range by a long shot.
You see here, you're going to see Paul coming right here on your screen. He's just going to get a nice run on Michael Van Buren and get a free run and a free hit on the quarterback. Defensive coordinator Pete Golding saying, hey, look, we can't let this guy continue to gain confidence and continue to push us down the field on the outside lane. We have got to heat him up.
Fair catch asked for at the 11-yard line by Micah Davis. 31-yard punt. Mississippi State missed an opportunity. 4-point lead, second quarter. Eli Manning's school passing record. Axon Dart came here from USC, only played 1.5 healthy quarters after being the National Player of the Year coming out of high school in Utah. Suffered through a torn meniscus. Played banged up when he was on the field. Came here to play for Lane Kiffin, knowing how he develops quarterbacks. And they keep it on the ground. And a huge hole for Ulysses Bentley. Here he goes. Bentley straight down the middle of the field. From the doghouse to the end zone. An 89-yard sprint. Zero carries last week for the SMU transfer, and now 26 career rushing touchdowns. And you can understand why there might be some emotion in that young man. Longest play of the year for the Rebels.
Gotta feel great for Ulysses Bentley. Nice play call, perfectly executed, and wait till you see what he does against Mississippi State's best defender. Just leaves him grasping at air.
Caden Davis a point after. Rebels back in front.
You're going to see it. They're going to pull both guards. And then just watch Bentley, and then watch him against who I consider a young up-and-coming superstar in Isaac Smith one-on-one. Just takes a bad angle, loses his footing, and then Ulysses Bentley is off to the races. He says, hey, you don't think I have speed? You don't think I have home run ability? You don't think I can produce explosives? How's this for you? One-on-one, I'm going to make their best defender miss in the hole, and then I'm off to the races. This is a guy who last week didn't get a touch, not one, in the biggest game of the year for Ole Miss. You want to talk about responding. You want to talk about football character. This is what it looks like. You continue to just do your work, and then when your number is called, you produce in the biggest possible way. How's that for a big way? How's that for emotion?
He is dialed in. That's the longest run in the SEC this year for anyone. Big part of the portal process coming from SMU, where he set the single season freshman rushing record. Nothing on this return. Tuesday at 7 Eastern on ESPN, and the app will have the exclusive reveal of the next college football playoff top 25 rankings. Reese and the guys will break them down from top to bottom, along with coaches' reactions. Ole Miss, part of a trio of 3-loss SEC teams, sitting squarely on the bubble.
I'll bet Chris Budden would say, I think the electricity and the emotion on that sideline for Ole Miss has picked up all of a sudden. Ulysses Bentley, the perfect guy to kind of ignite that, given the situation he's been involved in here over the past couple of weeks.
Play action, going deep again. Now the sideline again, and Kramer couldn't locate it. He's back in action after being suspended for the Missouri game last week.
Tom, Jeff Lebby is not messing around.
No.
He is saying, hey, look, you may have just hit us with one. I'm going to keep firing away out here on the perimeter with this freshman quarterback and our fleet of wide receivers, and you better have an answer for it, because I am not stopping.
This is a Mississippi State team that went into Austin and gave Texas fits in the first half and let the lead slip away late. To the ground game, Devon Booth, and he shoves his way to a Mississippi State first down.
And there you see a very calculated run game, a little bit of a power scheme. They pull the backside guard and get out on the edge against the undersized Suntarine Perkins, who only goes about 210 pounds. He's not going to be the most stout guy on the edge. And when they run the football, you can best believe that's where they're going.
Van Buren gets chased out of the pocket again. And now will tuck it and scrambles his way. A pickup of nearly 8.
Crowd was screaming. They think there should have been a holding call on Prince Umanmielen, who kind of hit the inside spin move. And the tackle did grab him a little bit from behind, which allowed Van Buren to get out on the perimeter.
Umanmielen just 2 sacks away from the Ole Miss school record. Second in the SEC with 10.5 coming in. Van Buren out of the pistol. Hand off to the left side. And Devon Booth, the punishing run, picks up the first down. TJ Daugherty, first man there. Booth is a great story, isn't he? Was a good runner at Utah State last year. Averaged nearly 7 yards a carry.
And there you see that continuous theme. Wide zone this time. Wide zone blocking scheme out on the perimeter. This time, just testing Umanmielen, seeing if he wants that. If he wants to go ahead and try and set the edge.
Play action. Sideline shot again. Little too strong. Coleman tried to lean into Hamilton, it looked like, and Isaiah Hamilton is hurt. Hamilton has to be taken out of the game, and that may be a big advantage for Coleman going forward.
I think they missed a holding call, a PI call again. Isaiah Hamilton grabbed Kevin Coleman's jersey. That's a blatant miss. I mean, you can see it as plain as day, and we're what, 200 yards away from it.
2nd and 10. Johnny Daniels nowhere to go. In fact, he loses a yard. Let's show you that last play again. Matt Austin, you see it the same way Lewis did?
Oh, I absolutely do. Yeah, that is a big miss. That call has to come from the back judge looking to the outside. He's really the only one that can see that. But that's a big tug and really slowed the receiver down. So that should have been called.
And so after that loss on the last attempt, 3rd and a long 1. State trying to answer for the last Ole Miss score, the Bentley touchdown run. And timeout taken by Mississippi State at the 6-minute mark of the second quarter. And Jeff Lebby has used every timeout available. This is an Ole Miss team that still has plenty of hope in the college football playoff. It is a muddy path, but it's a path nonetheless, and they're the first one to take the field. But in a topsy-turvy college football year full of chaos, especially last week, if some of these can fall their way and upsets can occur, that path becomes a little bit clearer.
Yeah, I mean, you always have to play it out in the hopes of getting the kind of help that's necessary, regardless of how much of a long shot it might be. And you can see Ole Miss came out in this game maybe sleepwalking a little bit, and now they kind of have woken up. Ulysses Bentley kind of providing them with that spark. But you got to play this thing all the way out to the end. It's been one of the most unpredictable college seasons that we've ever seen, just like this game has been so far.
Coleman motions out of the backfield. They want to throw on 3rd and 1, and they get it. Probably 3rd and 11, and they get it out to Booth, who gets bottled up. So, 4th down, and the kicking team will come on the field for State.
In a game where every possession is critical for Jeff Lebby and his football team, that missed defensive holding pass interference call, that is huge. That's huge. They're on the plus side of the 50, and they're rolling right now. Where if that penalty is called, here again, though, they get behind the sticks, they get stalled out, and now they have to kick it away.
Nick Barmira on to punt it away again. Fair catch off of his jersey, and they said it'll be kick-catch interference and off of Mississippi State. Micah Davis had never had a chance.
Kick-catch interference, kicking team, number 28. 15-yard penalty, 1st down.
You see the replay here.
They said it was 28. It was actually 22. Xavier Gayton.
And Micah Davis never even gets a chance to field the football as it hits the punt coverage defender's shoulder, the left shoulder pad. Easy call to make.
So now you feel, Lewis, like this is kind of like danger zone for Mississippi State. They didn't get that call a moment ago. They have to punt it away. Jackson Dart, one of the most prolific passers in all of college football.
Yeah, it'll be critical for them to get off the field here. Critical. You cannot let this momentum continue to build if you're Mississippi State, and if you're Ole Miss, you're going for the kill.
Beautiful pass past the 40-yard line and a gain of 18 to Jordan Watkins, who's playing less than 100%. And that's a record-setting pass for Jackson Dart, who passes Eli Manning for the all-time passing record here at Ole Miss.
And just what a great career he has had here at Ole Miss. Gets that ball to Jordan Watkins, their most explosive playmaker, absent Trey Harris, who's the do-it-all fantastic wide receiver, who they've missing once again here today.
And Bentley picks up a couple. Good thing the speed limit was already set at 18 around campus, because 10 would be a little too slow. 10,132 yards for Dart out of Kingsville, Utah. And now 2nd and 8. You've got Bentley in the flat, goes deep post. It is knocked away and nearly picked. Great play in the secondary by Isaac Smith, who's asked to do a lot with this Mississippi State defense.
And you see Isaac Smith in the middle of your screen right here. Just watch him with tremendous field vision and anticipation. He's playing that middle field safety role at about 10-12 yards. You see him just turn and sprint and get back to the middle of the field. Should have been able to finish that one. That would have been huge for Mississippi State. But he is going to be someone who on a national level you're going to be hearing about over the next 2 years. He is absolutely fantastic.
And on a local level, they know him well. His dad played here at Ole Miss. Dart to the slant. That's complete to Watkins. That'll set up 4th down from the 46, maybe 47. Interesting decision for Lane here, keeping the offense on the field.
Taking big people in. Here comes J.J. Pegues. They're bringing in Daquan Wright, the tight end, number 8.
And they're really good at 4th down, but you don't get this here. You give another opportunity to State.
Yeah, you sure do. It'll be interesting.
Dart's at quarterback and a timeout taken, lined up at quarterback. They had multiple tight ends in the game, and Pegues was lined up on the left side. So Kiffin and company looking at a 4th and 3 on the day that Jackson Dart passes Eli Manning for the school record in passing yards.
Hey, Jackson, congratulations on passing my career yards mark at Ole Miss. You know, I'm usually not very excited about one of my records getting broken, but having gotten to met you over the years and watch your career, I'm happy that it's someone like you. Congratulations again. Keep up the great work.
At least you can get an inscribed quarter zip out of the record, huh?
No question. I mean, just look at that. Those are just big-time numbers. Jackson Dart has just put together a great year. Obviously, Lane Kiffin rethought this situation. He's going to punt this ball away now. But, yeah, Jackson Dart Just a great career.
Snap came too early. Officials still standing over the football.
Snapped the ball before officials were ready. We'll reset it. Play fourth down.
Carter Short is a long snapper. Take a mulligan, put it back on the tee. Jackson Dart has only thrown for 67 yards in this game. Coleman runs away from this one, and we'll see where they mark it as they walk it up the sideline. State gets the ball back with 3:33 to play in the half for a 41-yard punt. Let's take a look at the All-State playoff predictor. And the Rebels still have an opportunity, but look at these SEC teams. Texas, Georgia, both 95% or better. I think I look at these odds, Lewis, and I ask, who would you not want to face?
I think South Carolina is one of the teams you don't want to face right now if you're talking about the teams that have slim odds to get in. That's a football team that can rush the passer. They've got size on offense. The quarterback is just fantastic. They've got a lot of momentum going their way. Texas A&M, notwithstanding the loss that they had last week at Auburn that we were at, that's a football team as well that's built the right way. They got a young up-and-coming quarterback that is just electric. Like quite honestly, like this division, I mean, the SEC is just strong from top to bottom. That's why you hear guys like Lane Kiffin talking about the fact that there's going to be some good football teams, Tom, that is going to be left out.
That's right. First down for Michael Van Buren, and the slant is a little bit low and incomplete. Going to find Kelly Akari. Isaiah Hamilton back on the field for Ole Miss. That's a good sign. Left holding his arm or shoulder on the previous possession.
I think if you're Jeff Lebby right now, you're probably thinking, look, we just want to make sure we protect the ball here. 3 minutes and change left to go in the second quarter. We don't want to give Ole Miss another crack at it in good field position, but at the same time, we could drive this ball down the field and at least get 3 and tie this game up. That would be huge.
To Devon Booth, and Booth has nowhere to go. Just got back to the line of scrimmage. Walter Nolan, first man there. A little trash talk after.
Just playing it conservative. They miss on the slant, then they come back on second down and run the football. Now they're in this 3rd and long situation behind the sticks. It's still 3:08 and counting left on the clock. Ole Miss with 2 timeouts. This is a big 3rd down. They need to go ahead and pick this up.
Empty backfield for Van Buren. Quick hitter to the edge. Mosley turns in the field and gets taken down short. That'll leave 4th and 2. With a stop by Trey Amos.
This is
the offense still on the field, huh?
It's a big time call if you're going to go for this. I don't. Is he really going to leave them out on the field?
See if we can get him to jump at the very least. Plenty of time on the play clock.
I don't think they're going to snap this ball.
Well, the interesting thing is State is out of timeouts. And so they take the penalty. Ole Miss is going to end up with great field position. And they'll have it with an extra timeout with a 2-minute warning coming up.
Didn't offense. 5-yard penalty. Still 4th down.
They got down behind the sticks here. Jeff Lebby got a little bit more conservative in terms of his play calling. Didn't want to launch any big plays down the field or big shots down the field. Trying to just manage this game and keep it within a 3-point game. But no, you're giving back a pretty explosive offense the ball here. Just over 2 minutes with 2 timeouts. They played a pretty good first half here. Probably a lot closer than people expected this game to be.
Micah Davis stands on his 40. Rebels nearly got it. Fair catch. The 35-yard line. 48-yard punt. We've got the 2-minute timeout. Ole Miss leading Mississippi State 17-14. State trying to throw a wrench into Ole Miss's plans. Michael Van Buren with a touchdown run to put the Rebels, put the Bulldogs in front. And Ulysses Bentley rips off the longest run of the season.
it's closed.
What about my letter?
Hey, Lexus, call Uncle Brian.
Uncle Brian.
To the North Pole.
Grandpa! Oh no! You did get my letter.
The December to Remember sales event. Get offers on select models.
I don't know why, but I was chosen for this.
Mary, you are to have a son.
But that's not possible.
This Messiah, is he real? Has he been born?
Love will cost you dearly.
Tell me where he is!
But in the end, love will save the world.
Played Ole Miss even. With under 2 minutes to go in the first quarter, Rebels with a pair of timeouts. Jackson Dart hands it off to Ulysses Bentley, and he's got another first down. And that's a 9-yard pickup, and Ulysses Bentley exercising some demons today.
You see Charlie Weiss Jr., the play caller for Ole Miss, is saying, look, if you're going to try and defend us with these light boxes with 6 men in the box, 5 men in the box, we're going to run the football. We're going to remain patient. And we'll take these 7, 8-yard chunks at a time.
Bentley again, that time for a first down.
And really, that's the cat and mouse. That's the cat and mouse that Coleman Hutzler talked about. He said, look, they want to run the football, but do they really want to run the football? Are they really committed to staying patient with it? And Ulysses Bentley is saying, hey, just keep doing what we're doing. I'll show you how patient we should stay.
1:20 remaining in the half. Bentley weaves his way around the logo and picks up 3. DeMonte Russell with the stop. 1:10 and counting. And stop the clock twice. Dart, quarterback run, takes it up the hash marks just shy of the first down, and 55 seconds left to stop the clock. And so Ole Miss uses second of 3 timeouts, clinging to a 3-point lead. Let's check in with the studio. Here's Kevin Negandhi.
Tom, Capital One halftime report minutes away. Booger McFarland, Kevin Negandhi standing by. How about the top 2 Heisman contenders putting on a show? Highlights of Travis Hunter and Ashton Jeanty. Mississippi State, 26-point dogs. Why is this even close?
And this is the epitome of a rivalry game. You throw the records out, both teams are going to play hard. If you are Mississippi State, they'll continue getting big plays down the field, and the longer they can keep this a game, all the pressure goes to Ole Miss.
Speaking of rivalries, we'll take a look at a big one tomorrow for Georgia. I should say for tonight, Georgia and Georgia Tech. That's coming up at the half. Back to you, Tom.
Hi, Kevin. Thanks. Georgia Tech may have some quarterback questions. No question about this. On the ground, 172 yards, Lewis, taking what State has given him.
Yeah, I mean, this is good game planning and good execution on the part of the Ole Miss coaching staff and on the Ole Miss players out there on the football field, and particularly Ulysses Bentley. These light boxes that Mississippi State will try to defend you with in an attempt to make sure that they don't get burned in the passing game, you have to take advantage of it. Really what it comes down to is offensive coordinators. Do you want to do what it takes to win the game? Or do you want to just throw the football because you think that's more fun?
Bentley bottled up, and that'll bring up 4th and a short 2, and a timeout by the Rebels. Joseph Head with the stop for Mississippi State. Bentley didn't get a touch in the Florida game. He carried it 13 times against Georgia. And the clock rolling at 32, 31, 30. They didn't take that timeout, so Dominic Thomas now in a tailback on 4th and 2. Dart pulls it back, and a beautiful catch. Caden Prescorn able to twist his body for the grab and go out of bounds. 19 seconds left.
Just trying to move this football down the field, getting better field goal position for Caden Davis to attempt a field goal here, managing the clock.
Bears would have 1 play left.
I was just about to say that. Didn't want to make any references to what happened with Chicago yesterday.
Dart has time. Finds Prieskorn again. They can use a timeout here. That's a pickup of 9, and they do. And the clock stops with 12 seconds remaining in this first half. You heard Booger talking about it, like the ability of Mississippi State to be in this game is what rivalry games are all about. They had some early emotion, and now Ole Miss hoping to get some distance here before the half comes to an end.
Yeah, this game is probably a little bit too close for comfort for these guys right here in terms of Ole Miss. They kind of came out and really had to withstand the punch that Mississippi State threw at them. That's not what you expect here at home on your football field. But just give Mississippi State credit. They have playmakers on the perimeter. Whether or not they can hold up in the trenches, that's what we're going to. That's what remains to be seen. And the fact that Ole Miss has a better roster. But forget all that stuff right now in a rivalry game on a day like this.
It was an emotional kick to the gut last week for both Lane Kiffin and Jackson Dart. Last 2 attempts were picked off in the loss at Florida, and maybe cost them their playoff opportunity, although there's still a slim chance. 2nd and 2, 12 seconds remaining in the half. As 2 completions have gone to the tight end Prieskorn. Dart looking for Watkins. He was open for a minute. Now Dart rolls and a flag thrown as the pass is completed for a first down to Caden Lee. And this will be holding and coming back.
Holding. Offense number 57. 10-yard penalty. Replay second down.
And so they'll bring on the kicking team and Caden Davis as long as 57.
And 57 is right here. The right tackle, Michael Pettis. This is just the kind of error that you don't want in this situation where you're just trying to get in the better field goal position. And there you see he just kind of reaches out and gives him a little pull on the jersey. That's just the kind of thing you just can't have. No penalties in these kind of situations. You don't want the quarterback to take a sack. You got to make sure you get the ball out of bounds.
Davis's career long is 57. Not much of a breeze to speak of, but it is cold. It's in the 40s. This will be a 54-yard attempt. He's already made from 39. And couldn't find it. Missed it to the left. And Mississippi State's going to head to the locker room with a 3-point deficit.
You see it here. He's just going to pull it left a little bit, and there's that, maybe that distance, the distance difference with the penalty. That's why you just can't have those self-inflicted errors when you're trying to get yourself in these kind of critical situations.
Let's see how Jeff Levy feels about it. He's with Chris Budd.
Coach, we've seen the aggressiveness early today. What does that say about the mentality of what it'll take to win this?
Yeah, for our guys, we got to find a way to get back in here, stay calm, and come out and make plays in the second half. I thought we did a nice job at times. We got to figure out ways to sustain and have the ability to play good enough on defense this first drive to get off the field and then go get points.
You mentioned stay calm. What have you thought of the way that Van Buren has managed the moment today?
Yeah, he's done a good job. I love the toughness, the effort, the energy, but at the same time, we got to be able to go execute. That's what it's about.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
A series of dates in 1901. The Egg Bowl is tight. State trying to find its first win when trailing at the half. Coming up after the break, Capital One Halftime Report with Kevin and Booger. We'll be back after these messages and a word from our ABC stations.
So I can just ask you.
It's longest touchdown for Ole Miss this season.
And this is why the Ole Miss fans have been screaming, run the football. Better yet, run the football with Ulysses Bentley so he can kind of give you just a little bit of balance, Kev. They'd love to throw the football, run the ball, take some of the pressure off Jackson Dart.
3-point game, though, Ole Miss, right?
You know what? Here's the thing about it. When you get in these rivalry games, Mississippi State is hurt all week. You're 4-touchdown underdog.
Yeah.
You can't win. You can't win. It's amazing what happens when the emotion gets into 17 and 22-year-olds, Kev. This is how it goes down.
And by the way, for Mississippi State, this is their Super Bowl. They haven't won a conference game. You can ruin a lot of things for Ole Miss as they are still reeling from that loss against Florida. Meanwhile, The opposite of that vibe is what we saw from Travis Hunter in Colorado. Coming off that loss to Kansas, and Travis Hunter put on a show, getting the pick here early.
No doubt, zone coverage where he can keep his eyes on the quarterback. He's always going to pick the ball off. And then, Kev, you get the inside receiver clearing out. Travis Hunter comes underneath. Easy touchdown.
So we saw the defense. Here's the offense. There's the Deion dance and much more for Hunter from Shedeur Sanders. Shedeur rolling out. Hunter, yes. And then how about this play? This is his third touchdown. Watch. It looked like there was going to be a face mask, pass interference. He don't care. Touchdown.
It should have been all that. But again, this goes back to his hand-eye coordination. By the way, if we get a moment, I'm going to do the Deion on stage.
Oh, can't wait. Deion, take it away for now.
I think Travis clinched the Heisman. Thank you, God, for stopping me. Because I almost said something. I think Travis clinched the Heisman with his performance. I think he made a lot of people aware of how ignorant that was with the Thorpe. His performance today, what he had, 3 touchdowns, 100 yards, and an interception.
By the way, the Thorpe is the Jim Thorpe Award given out to the top defensive back. He is not a finalist for that. Capital One rewarding performance. It's really what we saw from Travis Hunter. The 4th time this season with at least a touchdown and an interception.
Kev, if you put it in context, it's like this. A lot of people remember Charles Woodson. You remember Champ Bailey. He's playing a game at this point in his career at a higher level than both of those guys, and both of them are Hall of Famers, Kev.
Last time we saw a defensive player win the Heisman, you got to go back to Charles Woodson, edging out Peyton Manning. All right, this Heisman race also featuring a phenomenal running back, and that is Ashton Jeanty and Boise State taking on Oregon State. And by the way, Boise State in the playoff conversation at the moment, holding a bye there in the bracket, and they have to win out. And Jeanty doing everything for this offense. 5th game of 200 yards rushing.
Averaging over 7 yards a carry for the entire season. And let's give a shout out to the offensive line. Anytime you get a back that goes almost 2,300 yards in the season, somebody's blocking for him, Kev. Not just me and you. That offensive line has done an outstanding job. He punched his ticket to New York City today.
They had a 69% chance to reach the playoff according to the All-State playoff predictor. Heading into the game, they get the win. Look at the numbers here. Nearly 2,300 rushing yards, 28 rushing touchdowns. And when you see numbers like that from a running back in college football, you think of one man only, and Barry Sanders in that special 1988 season. Those are the numbers from today. I mean, where do they stack up?
Kev, most years we don't have but one worthy Heisman candidate. This year we have 2. It's going to be a shame that one of these kids is going to lose the Heisman Trophy because they both deserve it. You look at what Travis Hunter's done, outstanding on one side of the ball, let alone 2. And Ashton Jeanty, we haven't talked about Barry Sanders in a long time. We're bringing that name up because of this young man. Outstanding job by both of them. And you got to give credit Boise State and Colorado because they pubbed them all season long.
Boise State's only blemish, a loss to Oregon, and very much in that playoff mix here.
See if they can host
one. Get ready for the Mountain West Championship game next week. Much more coming up.
Where have you been?
North Pole. Hey there. Watch this. Boom. What's in your wallet?
Wisconsin, 134th meeting, the most in FBS history, and it's Marcus Major.
Yeah, Kev, the boat was being rowed today. I like how, first of all, I love the Minnesota uniform. Second of all, anytime they can run the football, get some play-action pass, this was a big win for them today going up to Camp Randall.
And with that win for Minnesota, the series between these two teams now tied 63-8. Jameson Gears right there, and hey, they claim the Paul Bunyan axe right there for Wisconsin. 5-7, they're going to miss a bowl game, and there goes one of the longest active streaks to reach a bowl game.
One of the more disappointing seasons for head coach Luke Fickell. A lot of expectations this year. They didn't live up to any of them.
Georgia continuing to keep that run going right now as you go back to 1997.
Disney's Moana 2. Moana and Maui are back in the must-see movie event of the holiday season, and it can only be seen in theaters. Get your tickets for Disney's Moana 2, now playing in theaters everywhere.
We saw it Wednesday night. We love the movie. It was fantastic. How about this matchup between the hedges? Clean old-fashioned hate. Georgia Tech, Boog. What's at stake?
First of all, how come you didn't invite me Wednesday night? That's number one. And what's at stake in this matchup? If you're Haynes King, can you run the football and be a dual-threat quarterback? When he's played well, they play well. And when you flip to the other side, Care, from a Georgia Bulldog standpoint, what Carson Beck are we going to see? Like, are you going to see the Carson Beck that we saw the second half against Alabama where he brought them back? Or are you going to see a different version? I think Haynes King is going to play a pivotal role. I love what this defense can do from Georgia, though. The physicality. The offense has been up and down, but the defense has been outstanding. And we know Kirby Smart, that's his baby. The defensive side of the football sets the tone. Any game they've won and dominated this year, that defensive side of the football has been there. I expect them to be prevalent tonight.
They gave up 200 rushing yards to UMass last week. That is a storyline. I'm sure they heard an earful this whole week leading up to this. And when you take a look at the schedule, keep an eye left side in that bottom corner. Miami, Syracuse on ESPN tomorrow. Miami must win to get into the ACC championship game.
This halftime report is presented by Capital.
Breaking news in the NFL, the Chicago Bears have fired head coach Matt Eberflus. We saw how it went down yesterday, a collapse in the final 30 seconds. First time in franchise history's 100-plus years that the head coach has been fired in the middle of the season.
Not only did we see it, everybody in America saw it. It was the talk of social media. And if you're in the Bears organization, your team was getting laughed at by the minute. And the moment that they fired him, I think they gained just a little bit of credibility back. He was bad yesterday, Kevin. Quite frankly, he's been bad all year.
5 and 19 in one-score games under Eberflus. Egg Bowl has been fantastic. Kevin Coleman Jr. looking to pull off a massive upset. Ole Miss gets the ball up by 3 after this.
Wake up, shot calling. Pay what I bought it. New crib.
With Walmart gifts for under $25, give the gift that shows you get them.
On a longing. 121st Egg Bowl coming your way in a game that Mississippi State trying to shock the SEC. It's only a 3-point deficit for a team that has yet to win a conference game. No return on the kickoff. We get set for the second half. Tom Hart, Lewis Riddick, Chris Budden down on the field. Lewis, the importance for Mississippi State, their defense, which had a tremendous first half, aside from really one bust in the long run.
Yeah, I think here now it's about clamping down on this run game, making sure you can keep a lid on the passing game, get off the field here early on in this first series, because offensively, Tom, they played pretty good. They have really taken their shots down the field. They've shown that they can produce explosives. And if they can go ahead and score on their first drive here and keep Ole Miss out of the end zone, heck of a game we have on our hands.
Jackson Dart, 9 of 13 for only 80 yards in the air in this one. Remember, he went off on Florida even before the interceptions. He threw for 340. And that one's broken up on the perimeter by Bryce Pollock. Intended for Jordan Watkins. Let's get down the field, check in with Chris Budden. What Lane have to say?
Well, he told his team we only have one more half of the regular season, and in order for us to pull this out, it's going to take some patience. They've seen the trickeration that Mississippi State used in the first half. They said they've already used up the fake punt. We've seen them go for it on 4th down. He said offensively that patience needs to pay off because of the 3 high safeties that they're playing that's limited them in the pass game. We had to be able to move the football on the ground.
Well, part of that 3 high safety look, Chris, thank you, is keeping Isaac Smith in the field in a place where he can come up and make plays. And remember, Smith was the one that got shifted on a long Ulysses Bentley touchdown run and went for 89 yards. 2 of the top tacklers in the SEC in Smith and Stone Blanton. And now Smith in coverage on pre-score, and they'll rotate him back up. They're down 7 for Jackson Dart. Flag, likely holding. Dart scrambling, and he dives forward. Micah Pettis was locked up with Suleiman Paka. Wayne Winkler trying to get it sorted out, asking Jeff Levy what he'd like to do.
Holding it. Offense number 57. That penalty is declined. 4th down.
Going to see Pettis here at right tackle. This basically puts him in a chokehold. This pocket has a nice upfield charge. It's the second holding call on Pettis for the day.
Lebby declines the penalty. Ole Miss in punt formation with Mazin, who's a Ray Guy semifinalist for the best punter in the country. Kevin Coleman from the 19. First guy got him. And it'll be a long field for State after a 48-yard punt. Here's how the scoring has looked so far today. Michael Van Buren finding Kevin Coleman for a 34-yard catch and run to get State on the board. J.J. Pegues able to plunge in and carry guys with him with a big fella run, and then Van Buren running it in himself. Back and forth the fair. 4 different lead changes in the first quarter. And then this Bentley run feels like it could have been the backbreaker, though it wasn't.
Yeah, Mississippi State continues to just hang in this football game and really want to take this all the way into the fourth quarter, and then anything can happen at that point in time. Now, can Ole Miss's defense respond and kind of keep this young quarterback from getting hot?
And he finds Coleman over the middle for a first down. Kevin Coleman said, I've always had a chip on my shoulder. I've always been the underdog. He went to Little Old St. Mary's in St. Louis, better known for their baseball products. Classmates were Yogi Berra and Joe Garagiola, a couple of Hall of Famers. And then he became the highest ranked recruit to sign with an FCS program when Deion Sanders got him to come to Jackson State. SWAC Player of the Year there. Things did not go well at Louisville, and now he's with State. And a loss of 1 on the runoff left tackle. It'll be 2nd and 11.
It's big Walter Nolan, number 2, transfer from Texas A&M, who Lane Kiffin said he played his best game of the season, and defensive coordinator Pete Golding said the same. This guy has a wrecker on the inside, and they wanted him to finish this season strong. And there you see what his strengths are. I mean, this guy can really shut down the run game from A-gap to A-gap.
It's on QB run. No, it's a pop pass, and it is intercepted. Taken away by Ole Miss. Trey Washington had it read perfectly, and his first pick of the year comes at an opportune time for the Rebels.
A fantastic job by Trey Washington of not getting sucked up into the line of scrimmage. As you see, the other safety, John Saunders, he almost got burned, but what a nice makeup play by Trey Washington for the pick.
Show you the ropes. There it is. I'll show you the ropes.
All the parts you need, guaranteed to fit every time. eBay, things people love.
Now is the perfect time to get away during the Hyundai Getaway Sales Event. With 0 payments for 90 days on select models. Plus, every Hyundai is backed by America's Best Warranty. Hurry to the Hyundai Getaway Sales Event before this great offer ends. Drive away now in one of our most popular models with 0% APR and 0 payments for 90 days. Only during the Hyundai Getaway Sales Event.
The 24th of Howard Park after dark. When I seen a man chilling with his dog in the park.
It's Christmas time and we got this berry.
Snow's on the ground, snow white so bright.
What song is that?
This is an elite Ole Miss defense, which has Pete Golding as a Broyles Award nominee for the best assistant in college football. And they've gotten the job done today, especially Lewis, with 2 takeaways.
Yeah, they sure have. I mean, they have been able to, in the back end, cause some confusion for Mississippi State in the passing game and come up with some big turnovers.
Rebels trying to get it going on the ground. By the way, it doesn't hurt that he's sitting next to the man who was the head coach at State last year, Zach Arnett, who now on the staff at Ole Miss, defensive-minded coach of his own.
If you're Ole Miss right now, especially if Mississippi State's going to invite you to run the football, to continue to go ahead and take what they're going to give you. They're really trying to keep a lid on this passing game down the field, as you've seen all afternoon. Maybe it's time for Ulysses Bentley to get a heavy dose of the carries here right now.
First down catch by Jordan Watkins. And turned into a part of the playbook that both Georgia and Texas used successfully against State. Those perimeter passes that really at some point seemed like an extension of the run game. And now Bentley can't quite find the edge and taken down at the line of scrimmage. A couple of different Bulldogs there. Isaac Smith was in on it, and an injured Mississippi State player right along the sideline.
I thought that might have been corner Rylan Lanier, who really came up and put a big hit on Bentley out there on along the sideline. These secondary defenders, and that is him, the corner, number 3. The secondary defenders have really been feeling hard on the run. Pollock, Lanier, Isaac Smith, Hunter Washington.
Well, despite that, and thanks to Bentley's long run, Bentley's in a second 100-yard game of the season. He's at 123 on the ground. Toss to Bentley. Can't quite get the edge, and it goes backwards for a loss of 7. Nick Mitchell escorts him out of bounds.
Again, the best of both worlds. If you can shut down the run game in this 3-high safety look and keep a little in the passing game, now you're getting exactly what you want. And there you saw Nick Mitchell. You saw that speed that he has, chasing Bentley, making him go lateral, not letting him turn upfield. Now you got a 3rd and long situation, which works in your favor.
Against a defense, it's 128th in the country on 3rd downs. They've allowed 48% conversions. 5-man rush. Dart over the middle, incomplete. Trying to find Prescore. Isaac Smith was all over him. I feel like anytime you're playing a heavy underdog and you fail to put the throttle down, every minute you allow them to hang in the game becomes much more dangerous.
That's exactly it. You just continue to, you just help them build more and more confidence. And if you're Ole Miss, you've got to start stringing together some first downs and get this ball in the end zone and make Mississippi State feel as though they don't have any hope. Now they feel like they have hope. I expect them to go back outside, start trying to put this ball down the field again, see if they can create another explosive play.
Coleman takes a fair catch inside the 10-yard line after a 37-yard punt. Back to Oxford in a moment.
And nobody knows shoppers better than Shopify. The undisputed, undefeated checkout champion of the world. Businesses that want to win, win with Shopify.
Power through the holidays with Energizer Ultimate Lithium, the #1 longest-lasting AA battery.
This holiday, she's not settling for anything less than the Triple Treat Box from Pizza Hut, featuring pizza, breadsticks, and dessert, starting at $19.99.
It's a good deal, bro.
Get the holidays delivered with Pizza Hut.
Don't holiday the average way. Get free swing and flannel and gift freedom to move. Only at Duluth Trading.
Michael's defense coming up big.
Yeah, it sure is. And look, this is a great play on the part of Trey Washington of reading this play out and helping out his fellow safety John Saunders Jr., who kind of got caught up in the play action. And you see that the safeties really exchanged responsibilities. Trey Washington was in man coverage, and he circled to the middle of the field. John Saunders came down in man-to-man coverage. And if you're Michael Van Buren, the quarterback for Mississippi State, I think you got to get back to throwing this ball on the outside where there's not so much traffic and where his receivers have been winning one-on-one.
He's hit numerous big passes in this game. Coleman and Akari, his best deep threats. This time they go to Coleman on a short one, and he has nowhere to go. Couldn't catch it. And it may have saved him a couple of yards.
I think if you're Pete Golding and you're Ole Miss, you definitely don't want to let Michael Van Buren get comfortable. Here you see just trying to hit Kevin Coleman on the quick wide receiver screen and seeing if he can make somebody miss and get up the sideline. But you've got to balance playing coverage with getting after this quarterback and making him feel uncomfortable.
We'll do it. Nolan Umuamiela at the edge of the D-line. Straight at him. And Johnny Daniels squirts free before T.J. Dottery brought him down. 3rd and 4. State 2 of 9 on 3rd downs today. Another quick one, and that's complete to the 20. We're broken up. Craver couldn't quite squeeze it. And Jaden Kennedy was all over him. And this will be a quick 3 and out for the Bulldogs.
That's a heck of a finish on the part of Jaden Kennedy, coming downhill with aggression, punching at the football at the same time as securing the tackle. You see that right arm wrap around and punch down through the pocket of Mario Craver. It's a nice series for Ole Miss getting off the field.
Barmira has been kept busy today for Mississippi State. Just feeling this rivalry. There's something odd that's going to happen that may secure it one direction or another. 38-yard punt for Barmira. Take a look at this week's college football playoff rankings, brought to you by Capital One.
Just getting down to that time, man, where everything's just becoming more and more important. It'll be interesting to see how this all winds up shaking out. It has been one of the most interesting seasons that we can remember in recent history. There's been some teams, I mean, we got to see SMU a couple different times this year. That's a football team that I think not a lot of people are talking about in terms of their explosiveness, along with the usual suspects at the top of the rankings.
They've got Cal, and they've got the ACC championship game next week. Dart going deep on 1st down. Incomplete off the fingertips of Jordan Watkins.
And Jordan Watkins is one of the leaders in FBS in terms of big-time explosive plays down the field. Someone who's been dealing with a little bit of a hamstring, hasn't had his usual explosiveness. There you see just ball just off the fingertips.
He leads the country in 40-yard receptions, and now they keep it on the ground on 2nd down, and Ulysses Bentley will give him a 3rd and 3.
These are 60-yard receptions too. I mean, he's got 4 of those on the season. It's just amazing what this team has been able to produce down the field, regardless of who they're throwing the ball to.
Bentley gets turned around and looks like he got enough for the 1st down. Another stop for Isaac Smith. Mentioned that Isaac Smith's dad played here in the 90s. They used to come to football and baseball games all the time. Isaac grew up an Ole Miss fan. In fact, they were the first school to offer him. There's the 1st down sign from our referee. And so Isaac's dad, Reggie, was asked about kind of his split loyalties, and he said, I'll wear red and blue. It just, nobody will be able to see that. You'll only be able to see the maroon that I'm Fresh set of downs for Jackson Dart. Slow play for Micah Davis.
See, Mississippi State just continues again with these 3-down fronts and these light boxes, just inviting Lane Kiffin. Go ahead, run the football. We'll rally to the run, but we're not going to give you anything over the top. We'll Ole Miss stay patient with it.
Dance to the outside for Davis, and he gets taken down. Loss of 4 yards. Suleiman Paca, the Purdue transfer, coming up with another big play for Mississippi State.
And there you see they show them the 3-down front and then just stem to something different. And then they come with a 6-man up on the line of scrimmage and really just rally to the run. Just great disguise for Mississippi State.
Micah Davis, 5'11", 185 out of Atlanta by way of Utah State. In the Air Force Academy. Still in a tailback. Dart, 3rd and 10. is not a State defense that gets to the quarterback very often.
You're going to see Tillman right here. Just watch him just kind of slow creep it on the rush. He doesn't rush right away. You see then, he sees Micah Davis isn't going to release. That's his man coverage responsibility. And then once he blocks, he does what he calls green dog, which means I'm adding into the rush. And he finishes with the sack.
And a muff punt. Rebels with a chance to recover. It ends up in the hands of Micah Davis. Was it touched by State or not is the question. What a huge mistake this would be. Just when the Bulldogs came up with a monster sack.
A receiving team player illegally touched by the kicking team. First down.
So an illegal touching. Here's how it unfolded. Looked like no illegal touching on that. We will clean it up. On the backside of this could determine the outcome of the 121st Egg Bowl.
She's just my little auntie.
I know.
Ball come down and clip his left hand. And that's what the replay officials were able to see. Ole Miss had obtained possession of the football. Now they're set up here on the plus 25 going in.
And that could be killer for Mississippi State. It came after a sack of Jackson Dart. Stone Blanton in on the stop of Ulysses Bentley. It's a loss of 2.
It's a huge break for Ole Miss now. They have got to make this count. Now they're just outside the red zone. But now behind the sticks of Stone Blanton makes a heck of a play.
Third consecutive tackle for a loss for State. Shot to the end zone from Dart. It is incomplete. And the sack and the tackle for losses really stand out. They're 132nd in the country coming in sacks, 131st in TFL.
And just look at Kelly Jones here going one-on-one against Caden Lee. A lot of hand fighting down the sideline. Kelly Jones goes 6'4", has tremendous length and ability to play press man coverage against Caden Lee, who only goes 5'11". These corners from Mississippi State have played a pretty good game outside one-on-one, both him and Bullock and Pollock, when they've been matched up one-on-one.
Dart out of the shotgun on 3rd and 12. Looking for Juice Wells. Wells, jump ball, incomplete. Coverage by Pollock, as you mentioned his name just a moment ago. And after the muff punt, Ole Miss trying to cash in, but coming up empty.
It's just another one of these back shoulder type of throws. Juice Wells had this same situation come up last week against Florida and just was not able to get his body in position to make what should have been maybe a touchdown catch against Florida that would have been a game changer. And here's another one of those situations, one-on-one. Juice just not able to finish on the throw. That's really been the story of the season for Ole Miss. In those one-score games, plays like that where they just can't finish.
43-yard field goal from Caden Davis is good. But consecutive Ole Miss possessions that have lost yardage. And it's a 6-point game. To your point about the Ole Miss passing attack and the wide receivers, Trey Harris is not available today. He's injured. He had to leave the Florida game early. Lane Kiffin was telling us, we want Trey Harris, but it almost puts us in a worse frame of mind when he leaves during the game.
Yeah, we pressed him on that little bit as far as like explain what you mean. Like sometimes when you already know what you're not going to have at your disposal, you kind of make an adjustment in your mind that, hey, look, I'm not even going to expect him to be here. But then when he is there and then he leaves, it just deflates the whole football team.
You know, Mississippi State's defense has had its back against the wall numerous times tonight. For 3 Ole Miss takeaways, Rebels have managed just 6 points off those turnovers. Tom Hart, Louis Riddick, Chris Budden. It's the 121st Egg Bowl, and Mississippi State is trying to snap an 11-game SEC losing streak. Heavy underdogs coming into this contest. High kickoff from Caden Davis, and no return. What a day of college football tomorrow. We get it started at 9 a.m. Eastern. College Game Day is live from College Station. Dude Perfect will be in the house. And then the nightcap with Texas and A&M renewing their rivalry. A berth to the SEC Championship game on the line. And Pat McAfee's putting $150,000 on the line in his kicking contest this week. McAfee knows how weird this series has been. He called the Egg Bowl a few years ago when it got as squirrely could be. That was the 19 contest. Both coaches got fired shortly thereafter. To the ground, and Devon Booth. A couple of yards off the left side.
Mississippi State continuing to try and get out there on the perimeter, make these defensive ends play the run. It's a great job by Xavier Harris of playing that run inside out. Now here it's 2nd and 7. This is where Van Buren's going to have to make a play. Has to be smart. Don't put the ball in harm's way. Can they get this ball back out on the perimeter in one-on-one situations?
He's thrown 2 picks tonight. They stick with the rushing game and Devon Booth. 3rd down coming up.
It's a good tough run by Devon Booth here in this 3rd and 3 situation. Now this is where you want to be. Your odds go up tremendously. They got one-on-one coverage on the outside.
Washington, the lone safety, lurking. He's got 1 pick today.
I wonder if that's what he was reading. He thought that he was going to get one-on-ones on the outside. Now it looks like maybe they've switched the coverage.
Straight ahead. And stopped short. Devon Booth taken down by Chris Paul, who's having another monster game. 4th and 1 for State. Jeff Levy is leaving the offense on the field. They're 2 for 2 on 4th down conversions tonight. Make it 3 for 3. Bob Booth's going to need an ice bath after this one. He is carrying the load for the State offense. 15th carry of the night.
That's a heck of a run. Newman Mielen had him tied up, but he just carried him for the first down. This is a great individual effort.
It's a lot of dude to move. Ramon Mielen, Florida transfer. Play action. Van Buren, comebacker, and caught right at the marker by Akari, and they'll say he was a yard short. 2nd and 1. You take a shot here?
You know, I think, it's funny. I was just about to say, after they picked up the first down, now's the time to take a shot, which in essence, that's what that was, although he converted the route on the outside. On 1st down, you're probably going to get some kind of 8 men in the box, some kind of single high safety coverage. That's the time to take those shots. Now 2nd and 1, you have your choice.
Instead, they run it, and it's a 1st down run for Booth. Well, maybe short of the marker. Let's see where the spot is. And just short. 3rd and inches. Going out of the shotgun. Johnny Daniels now in a tailback. Ole Miss was lined up offside. They get back. After the check, Van Buren hands it off, and Daniels into the pile to pick up the 1st down for Mississippi State. He was bear hugged by Nolan. Still don't want to give him up.
They are going right at the heart of this Ole Miss defense. We see Walter Nolan just getting penetration all game long, playing on Mississippi State side of the line of scrimmage. And now you've got another one of those situations where now again you have a 1st down. This is typically when offenses say, hey, let's dial it up now, especially if we can get single safety middle. Let's take a shot down the field.
They've been run heavy, 7 plays, 6 on the ground in this drive. Here's Van Buren. Pressured. Got away for a moment, didn't get swallowed up. Oman Mielon turned him around, and J.J. Pegues swallowed him up.
You're going to see, here's J.J. Pegues and Walter Nolan. They were trying to take the shot down the field. But you just see that the push, and here comes Oman Mielon on the outside. Here comes Walter Nolan looping back inside. And that's the thing that Jeff Lebby was concerned about. He knew he wanted to take the shots down the field, but would he have time? Could his offensive line hold up against this pass rush that coming into this game had 46 sacks on the season, best in FBS.
2nd and 18. To Akari. To the 49. Well, 3rd and long. Van Buren 13 of 26 for 201 yards. Freshman quarterback directing the 10th play of this drive. Steps up in the pocket and stumbles forward, reaching to turn it into a positive play when he was nearly brought down behind the line. And they'll have 4th and medium from the plus side of the 50.
And there you see Van Buren so loose with that football in the pocket. That's why he's put the ball on the ground as many times as he has this year. When he's trying to fight for extra yardage, he's got to keep 2 hands on that ball. He's lucky that Ole Miss doesn't have possession of this ball now.
The Egg Bowl always delivers, and we head to the 4th quarter with a 1-score game. Back to Oxford after these messages and a word from our ABC stations.
Deck the turkey with
3 week, and may not be a better rivalry in all of college football than this one. It dates all the way back to 1901. And Mississippi State came in heavy underdogs, but hanging with the 14th ranked team in the country, a Rebel team that feels like they still have a chance to make the playoffs. After review, they ruled that Michael Van Buren's knee was down behind the line of scrimmage. They go from 4th and 5 to 4th and 13, and now to punt it away to start the 4th quarter. Through the fireworks smoke, it's down to the 15, and we'll keep rolling before Ole Miss pounces on it. It is a chilly night. It's in the mid-30s. Chris, how people are staying warm down there?
I can get you a cup of really whatever you want. This was hot chocolate, but on each sideline you have an array of things. Chicken broth seems to be the go-to. You could get some cider, get some hot chocolate. Lewis, as a player, I'm going to assume that the chicken broth was the go-to for you?
Absolutely. Although they didn't have chicken broth back then. They just had frozen Gatorade.
Well, it's
How do you not have chicken broth?
Hey, I never had chicken broth.
It's better than what Ole Miss coach Frank Mason did in 1907 in this rivalry. He fed his players a coffee urn that was spiked with whiskey. He didn't tell them that there was whiskey in it, and lo and behold, Ole Miss didn't play as well in the second half as they did in the first.
I would think not, huh?
That would be his final game as the Ole Miss coach on a winless season. Dart has plenty of time, and he's able to find his tight end Daquan Wright out to the 30. First down.
He was looking for Jordan Watkins, seeing if maybe Mississippi State would allow Jordan Watkins to get behind the 3rd level of the defense, and just checks it down to Daquan Wright. You can see they're looking for their home run shot as well here. Well, Lane Kiffin's looking to try and put this game away.
That was their longest pass play of the game, and it covers 17 yards. Bentley scrambles forward, pick up 4, maybe 5. So do you think, as Lane Kiffin wants to dial deep, how can he get his guys free against his defense?
Yeah, you got to keep running it and seeing if you can get one of these safeties, namely Isaac Smith, to come down into the box, come down at least to the 2nd level to where he can get some one-on-ones. The run that they just ran was the exact run scheme, just flipped to the opposite way that Ulysses Bentley used to rip off his long one earlier on in the game.
Bentley trying to find some space. There's nothing there. And it leaves the Rebels with 3rd and 5. This has been over the last 5 years since Lane Kiffin was here. The most prolific offense in college football. Just doesn't look like it tonight.
It sure doesn't. And look, you got to remember, no Trey Harris, who's just such a dynamic player. We just don't know what the health status right now is of Jordan Watkins. Is he back to 100% or not? The run game's been inconsistent. They seem to manufacture offense regardless.
5-man rush over the middle, complete. Ole Miss first down to Caden Lee.
And there it is right there. The little in cut against a too-high safety look. Get Caden Lee one-on-one against the safety. They'll take that matchup all game long.
Part of the opportunity for Ole Miss to impress the playoff committee, they still try to work their way into the postseason. Dart will take off. He's got a lead blocker and a beautiful block delivered by Dominic Thomas. But Lewis, part of it was coming in a game where you're heavy favorites and able to dominate your opponent, to send a message that you're still an elite team. They haven't done that to this point, even though there's still plenty of football left.
No, and you know what? I mean, are you surprised, or any of us surprised, considering the fact that this is a rivalry game, and you knew that Mississippi State was going to play above and beyond maybe what they've shown?
Flag down as Dominic Thomas shifts his way to pick up a 4. This one likely coming back.
I think you're going to get a holding on Jeremy James.
Holding. Offense number 78. 10-yard penalty. Replay first down.
As far as the CFP conversation is concerned, I tell you, one person who's probably watching this game right now that likes the way this is going is Shane Beamer, because he feels like should South Carolina, which has won 6 in a row, win a ranked rivalry game on the road tomorrow against Clemson, that his 3-loss team should be considered over the others from his own league, Alabama and Ole Miss.
No question about that. I mean, that's what's going to make this so much more intriguing going down to the wire here. In South Carolina, just take a look at their tape. They're a deserving football team.
Dart tucks it, goes right up the gut. Took a hit after he picked up the first down from Zachary Tillman. But Jackson Dart's going to move the chain with his legs, and there's an injured player for State. That's Tillman, who's had a big game for the State defense tonight.
That's a big-time hit that he puts on Jackson Dart. You just see the competitive toughness of Jackson Dart. He'll do whatever is necessary here in his last game at Ole Miss.
Do we really need another computer? Not everyone does. But if you're reinventing music, tracking migrations in remote places, or getting others to see your vision, then a Copilot Plus PC will make a real difference. Powerful AI computer's not for everyone. But if you're trying to change the world, even if just your own, we built one for you.
Straight into the medical tent. 121st Egg Bowl. And a 1-score game early 4th quarter. Watkins and Lee motion out. And a shift back to the right for the 2 tight ends. Right and pre-scoring. That's where they want to run the football, and a big hit on Dominic Thomas. I'm just going to guess when it's 35 degrees out, the hits feel a little bit different.
Oh, are you kidding? Your helmet is stiff. Everything hurts twice as much. And the safeties, the defensive backs for Mississippi State, they have been delivering shots like this the entire game. Just coming downhill in this 3-safety scheme, how now they shift into a more conventional front, trying to change the picture on Jackson Dart in this 3rd down.
They bring 4 with a spy. Dart going deep, and we got a flag as everybody got tangled up. Caden Lee trying to crawl over Corey Ellington.
Pass interference. Defense number 10. 15-yard penalty and an automatic first down.
See, this is exactly what Coleman Hutzler, the defensive coordinator, wants to try and prevent by playing this 3-safety scheme. And they get their wide receivers one-on-one against their safeties like Ellington, like Hunter Washington. They feel as though they have the advantage. That time, Caden Lee running a slant and go. That would have been a touchdown had Corey Ellington not grabbed it.
Dart's only thrown for $112 so far tonight. Dominic Thomas with him in the backfield. High snap. Gathered. Gun to the outside. Incomplete. Jordan Watkins covered by Kelly Jones. Dart knew where he was going with that one.
He sure did. Jordan Watkins, the big playmaker on the outside, just one-on-one against the 6'4" Kelly Jones. Talked about him earlier, both him and Bryce Pollock, how they had been singled up one-on-one numerous times down the field and come up with big plays. And there's another example. That's where Trey Harris typically lived. That's where he would specialize in winning those one-on-one situations. You see how much they miss him.
9th play of the drive. Dominic Thomas. Stone Blanton, another stop for a guy who grew up a huge Mississippi State fan. Came in leading the SEC in tackles with 110. He's got 13 tackles tonight. Rebels let the clock roll. Looking at a 3rd and 5.
Goes pressure. Change and look again. Post snap.
Right up the middle. Dart backpedaling. Lobs. Caught! Caden Prescorn wins the battle with Hunter Washington. 19-yard scoring strike from Dart to Prescorn. What an emotional year it's been for Caden Prescorn, who lost his dad a year ago. And the married father of 2 trying to finish his senior night with a highlight and secured that one all the way through.
Zero blitz situation. Mississippi State deciding, hey, look, we're going to see if we can get a free runner on Jackson Dart and see if we can just hold up in the back end. And that time again, it's one of the safeties. This time, Hunter Washington, that's the victim. What a great individual effort by Caden Prescorn.
Time to go for Dos, brought to you by Dos Equis. Jackson Dart fires. It's intercepted. Coming the other way, Isaac Smith. And he's got the sideline and looking for a blocker or two. He bowled over Dart, but can't get it back to the opposite end zone. That would have been maybe the most Egg Bowl thing ever for Isaac Smith to turn it into 2 the hard way.
Sure would have.
Jackson Dart and Caden Prescorn have done this before.
Here, you're just going to see a zero blitz situation. Maximum pressure. Jackson Dart just fades away from the pressure. Caden Prescorn against Hunter Washington. Great individual effort.
He loves that baby.
My pride and joy. And wait till you see the other 2 surprises. A joyful bundle of 3.
3?
I was thinking of gifting one to each of you. I got AT&T's bundle of 3, iPhone 16 Pro with Apple Intelligence for me, and iPad and Apple Watch for you.
Get iPhone 16 Pro on us, plus iPad and Apple Watch for 99 cents per month each, and save up to $1,700.
Hey, Sweaty. Sweetie, you good?
Someone stole my Old Spice antiperspirant. Now I'm smelling like perspirant.
I did. Force 24/7 sweat protection.
You did this to my pits.
Game time, wing time. Now it's a tailgate.
Getting together? The bold Louisiana flavors and satisfying crunch of Popeye's wings are always the right call.
Have that chicken from Popeyes.
On a longing Fansville by Dr.
Thanksgiving, and that continues throughout the weekend. No love lost between these 2 programs. Ole Miss and Mississippi State. And this kickoff is driven through the back of the end zone. What a play by Dart and Prescorn a moment ago.
And you can see Mississippi State, Coleman Hutzler, the defensive coordinator for Mississippi State, is going to send maximum pressure 7 up on the line of scrimmage, one-on-one coverage in the slot. Safety Hunter Washington against Caden Prescorn. And Caden just wins the one-on-one battle. You see he's able to hold him off with the right arm, tip the ball back to himself, keep it extended away from his body so it doesn't get punched out.
Son Mac, daughter Romy, and his wife Callie will be watching that one on a loop forever. Freshman Michael Van Buren at quarterback. Leaves the pocket, delivers a dart to the perimeter, and Kevin Coleman Jr. First down State. Kevin Coleman has some impressive streaks going. 29 consecutive games with the catch. And 5 catches in 9 straight games. Make that 10 straight now with 5 catches for Coleman. Van Buren goes deep. Puts plenty of air underneath it, but nearly too much. Coleman and Hamilton. What a matchup that has been all night long.
But Coleman had him where he wanted him. The ball was thrown a little bit outside, although he was trying to run away from him to the inside. You see, if he leaves that ball on the inside and doesn't drift it outside back to the corner, Hamilton, maybe they've got something.
Hamilton was a late add to this roster. Transferred from Houston, came in May. Had 4 picks for the Cougars last year. Coleman gets a breather. 2nd and 10. Van Buren trying to run with it. Has nowhere to go. So Taryn Perkins takes down State's quarterback, and they'll leave 3rd and long.
See, quarterback and wide receivers not on the same page. Van Buren wanted to pull the trigger. The receiver was blocking in the slot. He didn't have anywhere to go with it. Now you're in a 3rd and long situation against the fiercest pass rush in college football.
Two sacks tonight for Ole Miss. Steps into the throw and delivers on time to Davon Booth. And that's cross midfield for the first down.
That's excellent pocket awareness by the freshman Van Buren. Step up in the pocket. Uman Mielen coming off of his blind side and then just finds Davon Booth hooking up over the middle. That's veteran stuff right there.
Pressure coming. Van Buren, another one deep, got a man. It's Coleman, and he is ruled down at the 1. A 44-yard strike to Coleman.
Oh. You see Coleman here just trying to extend this ball over the knees down. I think it's just short of the goal line. But one-on-one against Jaden Kennedy, who just settled his feet and was beat right at the snap.
Straight ahead, Von Booth bottled up after a pickup of maybe a foot. Now leaves 2nd and goal. Look how close Coleman was to break the plane.
Just a half a yard to a yard.
We got some extra pushing at 7 with the offensive line. Traore lost his helmet, so he'll have to come out. Kiffin trying to call on his charges. 2nd down from a 1.
Going empty. Got to keep an eye on Van Buren for quarterback run here if you're Ole Miss. Got one-on-ones on the outside and alert for the pick routes.
Got a lead blocker. They didn't pick him up, and Van Buren taken down, maybe a loss of a yard. They couldn't get to number 2, Walter Nolan.
I mean, he just absolutely jacked up the center, Ethan Miner. Just pushed him right back into the backfield, held him off with one arm, made the tackle with the other.
Can you run it?
If you're out here, you're looking for a one-on-one situation, maybe a stack release, a pick route type of situation. We look down here at the bottom of the screen. Well, where's Kevin Coleman? He's at the top of the screen in the slot.
And that'll back him up further.
False start. Offense number 77. 5-yard penalty. Still third down.
Well, maybe some of them headed to the library, but the student section's still in full force here, and Isaiah Hamilton getting them fired up. Feels like they caused the false start. 3rd and goal now from outside the 7.
You just can't make it harder on yourself if you're Mississippi State. You've got the ball down here almost inside the half-yard line, 1-yard line, and you're just moving backwards now. Now this crowd's into it. They know you're going to throw it, and here comes the pass rush.
Van Buren delivers, and a stretch from Traore kept short. 4th and goal from the 2. They are 3 for 3 on 4th downs tonight. Chip shot field goal range down 12. They leave the offense on the field. 3 does nothing for you late.
Where is Kevin Coleman? There he goes into motion.
5 catches tonight for Coleman. Van Buren looking, fires. It is Coleman, but incomplete. Just a hair low. And State turns it over on downs. Trey Washington in coverage.
See Kevin Coleman just trying to run. His face like he's going to go outside quick to the flat and hooks it back up and slants it back inside, brings it back inside. Ball's just a little bit low. You see there, it makes him look like he's going to go outside. The ball just a little off target, blown away where he needs it to be away from the defender. It's just too difficult of a catch. You like the concept. Something that you see often down here when you're trying to throw the football against man coverage. Ball just not where it needs to be.
Penalty hurt Michael Van Buren and Mississippi State.
Yeah.
And now State needs either catch a break or make one. Dominic Thomas picks up less than a yard, 2nd and long. The thing about Ole Miss is as quickly as they move, if you can force them to punt, you know that they're not going to have the ball for long. Then there's that, trying to stop the run, and Dominic Thomas picks up the 1st down. Thomas transferred in from Georgia State. He had 3 carries against Florida last week. Ole Miss is trying to find the most effective weapons in the backfield since the loss of Henry Parrish a few weeks ago. Thomas back to the line of scrimmage. Isaac Smith in on the stop. Timeout taken by State. 4:43 remaining in the 4th quarter in Oxford. Jeff Levy trying to engineer an upset. They need to get the ball back. Back in a moment. Ross Dellinger notes that Mississippi A&M, now State, was created 30 years after the University of Mississippi, quote, because of the disdain dirt farmers had for Ole Miss. And he further adds, nothing much has changed since. Dead even over the last 20.
Rivalries, man. We've all been a part of them in some form or fashion. This one is as heated as any in the country.
Cold night, 12-point game. State needs to make something happen. Dominic Thomas, fresh set of legs. Timeout taken by State. That leaves third down with 4:38 to play. Clean old-fashioned hate coming up next from Athens, Georgia Tech at Georgia. And the Iron Bowl tomorrow afternoon leading into Texas and A&M.
That's a pretty good slate right there. That's pretty good. Georgia Tech, we got to see them a couple different times, man. Brent Key really has that football team playing in his image. But the Bulldogs won 6 straight, 19 of 22 since 2001. It's an unbelievable record. What Kirby Smart has built down there in Athens is just an absolute juggernaut.
Got a couple of Tech guys in the booth with us tonight, Greg Campbell and Chris Capel. I think I'll have to drive to Baton Rouge while they watch that game on their phone.
That's what's great about technology, man. You never miss anything. You may not be on the device you want. You never miss anything.
It'll be a chilly one in Athens tonight. Third down 6. Rebels 6 of 15 on third down today. Here comes the blitz. Dart stands tall and delivers it for a first down. It's Caden Lee. Caden Lee's second in the country with his catch rate. He just does not drop balls.
And you just see this void in the middle of the field. You saw safety Isaac Smith blitz late, and he just opened up a huge void in the middle of the field. I mean, that's just an easy throw and catch for Jackson Dart to Caden Lee. You just wonder if there was some kind of miscommunication on that defensive call. That's a heck of a void to let open on a key third down in the middle of the field, right where Jackson Dart completed the pass.
Still pedestrian numbers through the air for Dart, but Ole Miss really leaning on the ground game, perhaps more than they have all season tonight. There's Ulysses Bentley, who's got a 100-yard game. That was by design from the state side with defensive coordinator Coleman Hutzler.
You know, give Charlie Weiss Jr., give Lane Kiffin credit for doing exactly what it was that Coleman Hutzler was daring them to do, which was stick with the run game as they tried to keep a lid on the passing game. They didn't try to force the ball down the field. Jackson Dart has been very efficient and very smart as far as the decisions that he's made, but when those opportunities presented themselves, he's been able to throw the football with effectiveness.
Rebels are going to stop the clock. Didn't like
timeout.
Something they saw. Second and 6. Coming out of this timeout, rivalry week continues. Clean old-fashioned hate coming up next. Carson Beck has been prone to turning the ball over this season as he gets loose. The Classic City last week against UMass bounced back with a 297-yard game and 4 touchdowns. Georgia Tech has 6 wins against ranked opponents under former Jacket offensive lineman Brent Key, including the huge one against Miami. Meanwhile, the Dogs have won 42 out of 44.
It's a heck of a record.
What needs to happen for Tech to pull that one off?
You know, similar to what their game plan was when we did their game against Miami. Got to control the line of scrimmage in the run game. Opportunistic big plays down the field, and then the defense. You just got to be able to get stops, hold them to field goals instead of touchdowns. I mean, same thing you see every week in college football.
They've gotten it done with smoke and mirrors at the quarterback position. 4 yards for Bentley. Whoa, we got extra pop or 2. And that's kind of what you expect in this one. 3:04 to play. Tom Hart, Lewis Riddick, Chris Budden down on the field. You're part of the college football playoff committee, and you're looking at Ole Miss and considering them for an at-large berth here late in the season. Still plenty of chaos could happen tomorrow, this weekend, and then conference championship weekend. How do you judge this game, and how do you judge it on a curve given it's a rivalry game?
Yeah, look, I think this football game right now, I think, quite honestly, Ole Miss really hurt themselves last week. I understand that they have played, you know, a very formidable schedule. They have 3 one-score games of which they lost on the road. I think the Kentucky loss obviously is one of those things that's going to hang in the back of the minds of the playoff selection committee. the Florida loss going in there as a heavy favorite, especially coming off of a bye week and off of the game against Georgia where they looked so good here and they were so dominant. I think it'll be hard for them to get in there unless everything possible breaks their way. I just don't see it, which is unfortunate for this university and this football team.
Especially everything they had built up. Dart lowers his shoulder and then makes it out to the 46-yard line. There is plenty of opportunity, and maybe this is me wanting the chaos to occur, but things could go sideways fast with all these rivalry games coming up this weekend.
They sure could. I mean, as we see, truly, it's not just lip service when you say throw the records out. There's a lot of emotion involved in these games. Guys wind up playing above and beyond their normal skill level simply because of the rivalries. Been involved in a lot of them over my time, and they're special, man. That's why it's such a great weekend of football.
3 losses on the season for Ole Miss. Upset by Florida last week. Lost to LSU in overtime, and Kentucky converted a big 4th down to pull off that win on a previously that a ball that was dropped in the end zone and ended up in Kentucky's hands. We approach a 2-minute timeout in the 121st Egg Bowl. Ole Miss trying to put the finishing touches on their dream of reaching the college football playoff.
Have you had enough?
Marty, it takes a lot of calories to be funny, which on Prime is back today. An old school rivalry for a new game day.
Touchdown! I'm here all day!
The Raiders.
Look out! Down he goes!
The Chiefs.
All the way for the touchdown! Your whole world's back! We got a game, boys!
Black Friday football. Kickoff today at 3 p.m. Eastern. Pre-game at 1:30 p.m. Only on Prime.
A message from the Sonic Department of Research and Deliciousment.
We topped off the new Sonic Smasher you love with our creamy queso. With hand-smashed patties made to order, it's a cheesy love letter to your taste buds. And they're about to get real emotional. The new Double Sonic Queso Smasher, part of our Smasher lineup.
The final 2 minutes are presented by the Wells Fargo Active Cash Credit Card. Be a 2%er. Earn unlimited 2% cash rewards on purchases. Terms apply.
At Mississippi Memorial Stadium in 1983, the immaculate deflection. Freshman Artie Cosby's game-winning field goal attempt from 27 yards stopped by a wind gust nearly 45 miles an hour. The breath of God kept State from winning that day. Nearly stayed in bounds and did. And Ulysses Bentley will allow the clock to run. Coleman Hutzler is the Mississippi State defensive coordinator. They've been really simple in everything that they've had to do this season. How does his defense play tonight?
They've been tough. They have really defended well on the perimeter in the passing game. The corners in particular have played well. They have tried to execute this game plan in the exact image that he drew up for us, which was if they're going to run it, we'll see if they'll remain patient running it, and they've done it. And Ulysses Bentley in particular has had a breakout game this year. And Jackson Dart has made the plays when he's needed to, like that right there, whether it be throwing it or running it.
Season high in carries for Ole Miss tonight. Let's revisit your keys to the game.
And you see here, no turnovers. They can generate 5+ explosive plays. Well, they generated the explosive plays, Mississippi State, but they had too many turnovers, 3 of them, 2 interceptions and a fumble. Defensively, forced Jackson Dart to be patient. They've done that. But the run game explosives, and then the timely throwing of the football by him has been on the money. Offensively for Ole Miss, red zone efficiency, 2 red zone attempts on, 2 red zone touchdowns on 2 trips. That's a far cry from a week ago. I'm sure they wish they would have had that kind of efficiency a week ago. And then defensively, limit the missed tackles. Only 39 rush yards allowed. You've seen these guys run into the football. It's kind of played out exactly the way they needed it to. But again, it's that red zone efficiency in particular. That's the thing
last week.
That's the thing that they will be thinking about all offseason.
ABC's college football rivalry weekend rolls on tomorrow. We start Nashville's West End, number 8 Tennessee taking on Vanderbilt at noon Eastern. Then the Iron Bowl, Auburn and Alabama at 3:30, and we finish with number 3 Texas and 20th ranked Texas A&M 7:30 Eastern on ABC. We're not done with rivalries today. Haynes King, former Texas A&M quarterback, playing hurt all season for Georgia Tech, trying to lead the Jackets to win against their rivals tonight. As soon as we're finished here in Oxford. Well, Jeff Lebby's team left it all on the field today, including Isaac Smith. The jersey tells the entire story, but Rebels will bounce back after that heartbreaking loss. J.J. Pegues is in with 26 seconds left to take this Wildcat snap. And he bowls straight ahead to pick up the first down. And the Rebels will put this thing on ice. And they'll send State to their 12th consecutive conference loss. J.J. Pegues, the mayor of Oxford, has so decreed, finishes with the ball in his hands. And Ole Miss will finish its regular season at 9-3. Lane Kiffin's squad with their 4th win in the last 5 Egg Bowl contests. It was a season high in both carries and rushing yards for this Ole Miss offense tonight. Mississippi State gave them an opportunity, try to get it done on the ground, and they did, with the highlight being Ulysses Bentley's 89-yard touchdown run.
What a fitting way for him to go out after so much controversy surrounding his lack of usage a week ago in Gainesville. It's just nice to see Lane and Charlie Weiss Jr. give the young man a chance to finish the season off strong, and for him to respond the way he did with really the game-changing run of the game.
Well, the trophy looks like an egg. There's no stitching on that football. It's just a big golden egg, and this one belongs to Ole Miss. And the Rebels will keep that trophy here in Oxford. Jackson Dart lost when he was a freshman, said, "I'm never losing this game again," and they will celebrate. He's with Chris Button.
He's taking a moment with his head coach. Two that have built a really beautiful relationship over the last couple years. Jackson, emotional moment with your head coach. You guys have built quite the relationship here during your time. What did you want to tell him?
I said I love him. You know, it's not always easy, when you transfer, you go across country and leave your family and whatnot. This place is taking me in, taking my family in, and I just love it so much. It's a place that's near and dear to my heart, and Coach Kiffin was my biggest influence and somebody that helped guide me through this process, so I just told him I love him.
He also helped you get past the emotions of last week and the disappointment coming out of Gainesville. Coming here today in your last game in this stadium on senior night, beating your rivals, what does this one mean to you?
Yeah, it means a lot going out with a win. You know, this season, you know, I don't know what to expect going forward. If they let us get in, we're going to make a run at it for sure. But I'm just grateful that we were able to cap it off the right way for the seniors. And, you know, these games are ugly, and they're a lot of fun to play in. And it's a great feeling beating State, that's for sure.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Guys.
Chris, thanks. Great job. The last 2 games for Jackson Dart have ended in tears. At Florida, it was after back-to-back picks. And now here tonight, his final regular season game as a Rebel, a hug from his head coach and tears of joy and appreciation. Well, it's a game that's been full of emotion since 1901 in the Egg Bowl again tonight. Our final score, number 14 Ole Miss 26, Mississippi State 14. Louis Riddick, Chris Button, I'm Tom Hart. Thanks for watching. So long from Oxford. Time to get you set for clean, old-fashioned hate. To the studio, Kevin Agandi and Booger McFarland.
Tom, love the images and the scene. Kirby Smart in Athens, Georgia. They've won 30 straight home games, tied for the